I'm taken with the notion
Yes, dude.
to love you with the sweetest of devotion. Baby, baby,
Yeah, I've heard this.
my tender love will flow from the bluest sky to the deepest ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Stop for a minute.
Oh, why'd you yell?
Baby, I'm so glad you're mine. Yeah, you're mine. Baby, baby, the
Baby.
stars are shining for you. And just like me, I'm sure that they adore you. Baby, baby, go walking through the forest. The birds above are singing you a chorus.
Yes.
Stop
What?
for
No,
a minute.
Not going to stop.
Baby, they're so glad you're mine. Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm
And
done with you.
ever-
Goodbye. See you later.
Dang it! I'm gonna have that in my head all day.
Man, November 29th, Nashville, Tennessee. Come on, Amy Grant.
Wait, really?
Yes. Wow, she's on tour?
I never got to see
Good
her.
for her.
Huge fan when I was a little kid.
Look at all these dates in Nashville.
Huge fan.
Okay, that's cool. 505-585-LIVE. You can text into the show. Also, phone lines open. Please don't abuse the phone lines like Bill Peterson. 505-338-3700. And we're on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Jarrett, good morning. Brittany, what's up? What's up? It's Britt, guys. There you go. So you guys can continue to chime in. Let us know, maybe some tips on how you consume the Bible. Maybe there's some ways that you can share how you grow in your faith, or maybe you just want to share a really cool story on how you ate some flaming hot Cheetos with cheese. Share those food stories for me.
Apparently, this is old. You eat them with a fork, man.
You know, with a fork. I've never been around anybody that's done this before. Nobody's ever told me. I feel gypped.
Yeah.
It's not okay, guys. I need new friends.
Somebody said, what if you just follow like daily scripture reading on Facebook? That way it's like the 2-for-1. You get to do social media and you're reading. I don't know. I see that all the time. It doesn't count if you're scrolling through your feed and somebody else posts a scripture and then
That
you go,
doesn't count?
Oh, yeah, that's a good daily meditation, Peter. Thank you. Just going to keep scrolling now.
Yeah, but what if you stopped and you meditated on that scripture?
Oh, my gosh.
And how you could apply it to your life.
Sure, why not? Scripture says the word never returns void, so
Amen.
he's doing something with it.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's National Eat What You Want Day. I just found that out. Eat What You Want Day. Is it my cheat day? Someone said it's National Eat What You Want Day, so okay. I'm in. Flaming hot Cheetos and cheese. I'm doing it. All right, when we come back, it's Mother's Day on Sunday, so we are going to call our moms and wish them a happy Mother's Day. When we come back, hang out.
We all want the best future for our children. Our next generation of leaders need a strong foundation. With small classes, a great sports program, and affordable tuition, Evangel Christian Academy strives to equip students for the work God has for them. ECA's mission is to shape and empower the Christ-loving leaders of tomorrow. By using a leadership-driven and individualized learning model, our staff can better prepare your student to stand strong in their faith and be ready for the real world. ECA also utilizes dual credit through C&M by offering 4 courses on our Academy campus taught by our staff. Since 1976, Evangel Christian Academy has been serving children from preschool through 12th grade and is fully accredited. We are located at 4501 Montgomery Boulevard Northeast in Albuquerque and are currently enrolling for the 2018-19 school year. Please contact Evangel Christian Academy for a tour today at 505-883-4674 or go online to ecanm.info. That's ecanm.info.
Tony Evans. This is a Star 88 Supernova.
When you leave divine revelation and use errant sources in the creation, the Bible just called that an idol. Whatever you add to, the Bible pronounces at the end of Revelation a curse on any man or any woman who adds to divine revelation. That is, you bring outside contradictory thoughts, ideas, perspectives, and what's worse about it is when it's done in the house of the Lord. One of the reasons our culture is falling apart is that instead of the church influencing the culture is now influencing the church. Because now, folk are bringing the mess of the culture into the church, asking the church to go along with it.
That was Pastor Tony Evans on a Star 88 Supernova. This is KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Star 88, New Mexico's fresh alternative. It's the Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
You guys are totally bad to the bone.
I'll smile, know what it takes to fool this town. never see what's hiding out deep down. Yeah, I know, I've heard that to let your feelings show is the only way to make friendships grow. I'm too afraid now. Yeah, I put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm running with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I put my arm around, show you how strong I am. I put my arm around, I'll show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm running with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. Unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today. I'm unstoppable today.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
I don't know. They might have fallen out of the sky.
Here's to you, Mom. While the movie screens of America are awash with fictional superheroes, there's not a son or a daughter among us who doesn't know deep down who the real superheroes are. They're you. 150-ish pounds, give or take a little water weight, of straight-up guilt-inducing moral authority that stands ready to kick our undisciplined butts. Every day you show us your mettle by performing feats of strength and courage that would make most mere mortals surrender in whimpering defeat. Like packing lunches for the 1200th time, treating grass stains on softball uniforms smelly enough to steal second all by themselves. Or in the gutsiest display of mom-style bravado yet, climbing into bed every night with, you guessed it, Dad. Yep. The same hopeless romantic who just ate a pre-bedtime snack of week-old pepperoni pizza. So with Mother's Day on the way, America, forget about the superheroes who wear capes or spin webs. Spend a little time heaping praise on the one wearing a grape juice-stained threadbare housecoat. Mother's Day is her day, baby. So make it count, or face you-know-who's wrath.
Mother's Day on Sunday, everyone. Shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. Here in just a few minutes, we're going to track down our moms. Wish them a happy Mother's Day. You guys can be a part of the show. That's what this show's all about. It's about you guys. You can chime in. You can text the show, 505-585-LIVE. You can also join us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We upload the shows every day, so you can go back and get caught up if you only get a few minutes of the show. Star 88 FM on Facebook and YouTube. And you can download the app to your smartphone. You can stream us right there. Star 88 app. It's free. It's on demand as well. Got the little on demand feature. It's our podcast all through the app. Pretty cool. Whoever designed that app, pretty cool guy. I know him. So yeah, lots of ways to chime in. Also, I know it's old-fashioned and you guys don't like to call anymore, but we love it. We like to interact with you. We like to hear your voice. 505-338-3700 is the phone number to call in. Coming up after 8 o'clock from Better Call Saul, Patrick Fabian is going to be joining us on the show. He was in everything under the sun. Lots of stuff in the 90s. Just for the past 30 years, this man has been working hard in Hollywood. And he promised us he would come in, and we're going to see if he lives up to that promise when he joins us in the studio at 8.
Why wouldn't he?
I mean...
I believe in him.
Okay. All right.
I believe in him.
So, moms out there, are you pretending to like your Mother's Day gifts every year? Are you pretending? When you get handed that gift, are you really dying inside because that's not what you want?
Dang, dude.
40% of us think our mom has faked a reaction to a Mother's Day gift and pretended to like something she hated. The most common reaction to a bad gift is a simple thank you. So it really depends on how she says it. That's everything right there. The reaction, how she says it, the look on her face when she receives the gift. The 5 most common fake reactions to a bad Mother's Day gift are saying thank you. Ah, I love it. Wow, this is great. And I really need one of these. Okay. On average, we'll spend about $75 on mom this year. Middle children spend the what? Middle children spend the most? What?
Yeah. Yep. Scotty's the middle child.
Oh, I read that wrong. I thought it said. Never mind. Why did I think middle school children? My brain saw middle school children spend the most. I was like, what? Middle school children?
To be fair, guys, he never passed middle school.
I never passed middle school. I did. Barely. 2/3 of us check with our siblings to see what they're getting mom before we buy a gift. Then about half of us try to one-up them and buy something better. Okay. Should we try to track down our moms? Do you want to call your mom first?
I mean, I don't care.
Did you text your mom?
No.
Okay, let's call my mom. Because I texted my mom and made sure that she was
oh, good.
She was ready to go.
Because I'm like, yeah, it's pretty early out there on the West Coast-ish.
What happened? Why'd you scream?
Drank all my coffee.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, it's busy.
I need to make another cup.
Calling my mom in Montana. Her name is Betty. Betty Toth. She is
pronounced Toth.
Beautiful woman. She's 39 years old. Good morning, mother.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Oh, man. So good.
Oh,
So
man.
So good. How was your day?
It's okay. I'm at work.
Already?
Oh.
Yeah, I start at 7.
She works hard for the money.
7 o'clock. Costco doesn't open up at 7.
No, but I'm at the front door. I let everybody in.
Oh.
Oh, that's
wow.
cool.
So is that where they have you these days? What's your job? Because they move you around a lot.
Yeah, I'm in sales audit this week, and so my job starts at 7, and I'm at the front door. I do all my paperwork and stuff down here, and I'm at the front door. I let people in till 9:45, and then I go to the office and finish my job.
Wow. Huh. What's your favorite job to do at Costco?
What's that?
What's your favorite job to do at Costco?
All of them.
Okay, come on. There's got to be a favorite.
It's a good answer.
I love to cashier.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's the best.
Talking to people.
Yeah, I miss cashiering when I have to do this job. But the lady that does the job, she's in Las Vegas for her birthday, so I get to do her job. Yeah. How are you guys this morning?
Doing good.
I can't complain. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. But before we go anywhere, I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh, who? Me or Steve?
Don't ever call me old again.
Who said old?
You did.
I
You
did.
said there should be a class for old people to learn how to use their iPhone 10.
Snap.
I didn't mean you, Mom. I didn't mean you. Mom,
maybe you should clarify that. Because
I apologize.
even though I am old, I don't want you saying I am.
Well, I mean, You got that.
Well,
you got
I mean-
that fancy iPhone 10, and you don't even know how to use it. So maybe you should take a class,
But that's
Mom.
not an old person thing. That's just like a technological thing. That thing is
True.
crazy.
I
It's
probably-
like a new car.
Thank
I
you
probably
very
couldn't.
much.
Probably
just-
couldn't run it.
And
either.
I'm learning how to
Yeah.
use it.
Okay.
I love it, so you're not getting it.
That's fine, Mom. That's fine.
That's
fine.
good. That's
Okay.
good.
That's
So
okay.
I don't know if he told you what he got you for Mother's Day yet, but he's really go ahead, tell her
Oh.
what you got her.
I didn't.
No, exact. He's really excited about this one. Yeah, the Starmie chimed in this morning and it was like, "What should Dex get his mom for Mother's Day?" And starting today,
I gotta throw me on the bus.
Dex is paying for his own cell phone bill.
No, that's
No,
Mom.
he's
Mom,
not.
don't
No, he's
don't
not.
listen. Don't listen to him. That's
He's
the lie.
not?
No.
No.
It's a
No.
lie.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go
I
out
know,
on my own
I
yet.
know, and I'm not ready for you to do it either.
I
so
love
we
you,
won't
Mom.
worry about it.
Enabler. Enabler.
I am. I'm terrible.
How do you expect him
I-
to ever pull up his big boy pants when
know-
you are still buttoning them for him?
You know, it's
Well.
just a cell phone bill. Come on.
Yeah, it's a cell phone bill. His brother's on there. My mother's on.
Well,
I
and
just
it's
take
probably
care of
cheaper. It's
everybody.
probably cheaper to have everybody on there anyways.
That's
so.
I mean,
No.
Oh,
It's not cheaper. I can tell you, it's not cheaper.
Oh, my bad.
cheaper for you maybe, Dexter, but
Yeah.
man.
No, Mom, I
It's okay.
I appreciate you so much. I really do. I can't. I wish I had the words to tell you how much I love you and everything you've done for me over the years. And like you've been on the show before, and last time we had you on, people were just loved you because
You're real.
You're real. Yeah, you're all about hey,
You're like Roseanne,
you fall
which is the
down,
number one show on television.
shake it off, get back up, get back in the
Careful.
game.
I don't want to be Roseanne.
No, I mean you're kindred spirits, like her but different.
Oh.
Totally different.
Oh, okay.
But totally
Okay.
different.
My mom,
Yes.
she
Okay.
did we watch? Did you allow us? I watched Roseanne growing up, but I think you hated that show. You thought it was too
I
edgy.
did hate that show.
Yeah.
It's awful. She's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Oh well, maybe in real life, but not Roseanne.
No, she's disgusting and on the
What?
show too. It's gross.
You need to watch the show. It's really good.
He just needs Jesus. What can I say?
You know what? Watching this new season, I think she did find Jesus.
Oh man, this is amazing.
And Fox News.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
and Fox News.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah, but-
too much of Fox News is too much. Just a little bit. Just watch a
Oh,
little
man.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get an overload if you watch too much of it, and then you're about ready to go do what all those other people do. It makes you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
yeah. Well,
On Mother's Day, do you think about anything? Do you go back and think about the times when you were giving birth to Michael John and I? Probably just me mostly. You probably think about that a lot. I mean,
I don't think about that too much because it wasn't the greatest time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you kind of put it out of your head.
Yeah.
I don't know how women give birth. I have a friend that has 13 children. How did she do that?
Drugs.
First time?
drugs probably.
Oh gosh.
No,
know.
she had no drugs.
Oh,
Whoa.
what?
They're all yeah.
Well,
yeah,
they
yeah,
say
yeah.
that. I think after like the fourth one, doesn't it just slide right out pretty easy?
I don't know. I only had two.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Okay.
think of you and your brother all the time.
Oh,
You
well,
know, not giving birth to you, but
Yeah.
you guys and your life. So, and my grandkids. I'm just that kind of person. I
Yeah.
just think of other people all the time. I can't do anything for them, but I think about them and pray for them.
Well, that's
So,
not
yeah.
true, Mom. That you can't say that because you do so much. I mean,
Oh.
I think of the number one thing, and that's prayer.
Yep,
I
that's
think
for
that's
sure.
that right there is gold to me. When you say you're
Yeah.
praying for me, when you say Grandma's praying for me,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is everything because
Yeah.
that's where my faith is at. I have faith that we have this humongous God that's taking care of us. He's our Father. He's our Dad. And when you're praying, and asking Him to, whatever it is you're praying, I mean that to me is everything.
Yeah, it is everything. We need to do that more often for one another.
Yep.
I was
Exactly.
hit the other day when you always kind of flippantly say to people, "Oh, I'll be praying for you." Do you really pray for that person, or do you just say that to them to make them feel better?
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm guilty
the Holy
of that.
Spirit really prompted me to go, you know what? If you're going to say it, you better do it.
Yeah.
So I don't say it unless I'm really going to do it, So,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you guys just sound so awesome on the radio. I'm so glad that you're back together. And,
Mm.
you two. That's
Yeah.
right. You
So
guys
good.
are an amazing team. I love you both.
Thank you. I love you.
Yeah.
You raised a
sure.
great son.
Well, I mean,
most
he's
of the
pretty
time.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
is it
pretty awesome.
snowing? Is there a lot of snow? Is it warming up? What's the weather like in Montana?
It's warming up. It's just raining.
Just it's raining. Oh, nice.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
it's
I have
raining.
I have a question since Sunday is Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, over the years, like we did things like, oh, you made a little handprint and it's like a drawing and it's a this and that. Is there one Mother's Day gift that sticks out in your brain over all the others from like when Joey was little?
I really don't remember any Mother's Day gifts.
Oh my gosh!
I don't-
Remember when I made you that ashtray? I made you this really sweet ashtray.
You did?
I
It must be
did.
in a box downstairs somewhere because I don't.
Are you kidding me? I bet it is downstairs.
It probably is. Well, remember when we moved from the other house up, the big house up on the hill?
Yeah.
I packed everything up. I've never unpacked any of that stuff, so
Gosh.
it's probably still in there. Yeah. I don't need any gifts, for heaven's sake.
See what I tell
All I
you?
need is you guys.
See, my mom. I knew you'd say that. You know, I knew you'd
I'm
say
not
that.
a real materialistic person, so all that
Yeah.
it's just junk to carry around on your back for the rest of your life.
Yeah, this
You know,
is
all
true.
I need is, I don't need all that garbage.
Let me
But
ask
yeah.
you. Let me ask you. If I let's say I bought you a massage, would you go?
No.
Ugh. See,
I don't like
Waste of money.
people massaging me.
See?
I don't like them touching
but
me.
you
That's
work
gross.
so hard, Mom. I'm just
I don't
like you. I
care.
don't like it either.
I know.
I
know.
went one time for a massage, and I could not move for 2 weeks.
What? Yeah, I think you went to the wrong place.
No, I get it. I get it. There's a difference between like relaxing massages and therapeutic massages because I'm in physical therapy right
Yeah.
now and I'm going through that and I hate
Yeah.
it because it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
Huh.
just
it's
working
awful.
you.
I hate it.
Just
yeah,
working
yeah,
you.
I don't like it.
Like
I don't
fixing
like
you, but it
people touching-
hurts.
No,
What
Oh,
about
yeah.
a Manny and a Petty? Would you go?
no,
Okay.
no.
You have to explain that.
No.
Manicure and pedicure.
Maybe
Yeah,
get your
I
hair
don't like
did.
it.
Maybe get your hair did.
Man.
No,
No?
I
Okay.
just got my hair done. You know what? All I want is this. This is the best gift that I can get.
Oh, see there. See, I
And
do
Grandma
every
and
year.
I going out to dinner probably on Sundays.
Oh,
That is,
good.
to me, that's, well, I didn't say we were. That's up to Dad and Mike. You
Yeah.
know those two.
Yeah, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So,
All
you
right.
know. But yeah.
How's Dad doing? I know the Starmy. They've been praying for Dad, and so here's I'm confused with the story because so Dad he almost died. You know he did I
Uh-huh.
think for like a couple minutes or something. They brought him back, and he
Yeah.
had bleeding in his stomach. Right, his intestines were bleeding,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah,
they
the colon.
they diagnosed him with Crohn's disease. Right.
Yep.
And then didn't another doctor say no, it's not Crohn's?
No,
And,
they didn't.
oh, okay.
They did a blood test to see if you have the gene for Crohn's, and he was real peculiar because he not only has Crohn's, but he has ulcerative colitis.
Ooh.
So he's got the two diseases together, but he's doing really good. So, he's doing good.
Yeah.
So
Good. His last
he'll
checkup was
be
good.
okay.
Is he changing his diet?
Yeah. She said he really didn't have to change his diet.
Really?
Just watch nuts and popcorn and
Really?
watch the sugar that he eats. Yep.
Wow.
That's
Because
what she said.
I thought meat was bad for people that had Crohn's disease.
No, she said not to eat a lot. I said, does he have to cut out beer and alcohol? And she said, no. He can have
Really?
a little bit of beer if he wants a beer every once in a while, which he drinks. Every couple of weeks he'll have one of his cans of Foster's. And but
Yeah.
no, and
Okay.
they're like,
Yeah.
how many liters are a Foster? So that
Yeah.
they're huge.
Yeah.
But he's doing great.
Good.
He's doing He just gets really tired.
Yeah.
When he gets tired, he gets real cranky. But
Yeah.
he's doing really good. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Considering what happened to him.
Yeah, no
I'll
kidding.
tell you, that was pretty
Yeah.
scary. I don't ever want to go through that again.
I bet.
Man.
Well,
That was hard.
I love you, Mom.
I love you guys too. Thanks so much for calling me. I appreciate it. I asked my boss if I could answer my phone.
Oh, good.
He said, yep, you can answer your phone. That'll be fun. So, yeah.
All right.
Appreciate the call.
Well, I'll talk to you again on Sunday, okay?
Love you.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
All
I
right.
love you guys so much.
Have a
We'll
good day
see
at
you
work.
now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man.
That's my mom!
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah.
Great
She's
American-
amazing.
Great American
how,
woman.
How did she raise you?
I don't know.
She is so strong and amazing and just she hates Roseanne because she is Roseanne. It's
Right?
like when you're so much like somebody
Right.
you don't get along.
Yes.
They're the same.
They're the same.
And
Yep.
then she raised this cream puff of a kid who gets manicures and pedicures and runs away to the beach.
Yep, that's me.
Just,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I somehow figured out a way I could take a month of personal time. Still get paid for it. What? She raised me well.
Your mom is the coolest.
Yeah, I got good parents. They did a good job. They've
Yeah.
always been, they're the parents that whenever I needed something or wanted something, they always would figure out a way to make it happen. I was spoiled rotten. I really
Right.
was when I think about it. And
As was I. I
Yeah.
was a spoiled brat. Somebody said Dex's mom is awesome. I hope I have her fire if when I get to her age. Love her.
she's 41.
Yeah,
guys.
41.
41.
It's pretty amazing.
All right, we're up on a break, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to call Steve-O's mom in Phoenix, Arizona. I bet it's like 120 degrees already. They're
Ugh.
probably breaking records right now.
It's gross.
So it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Don't forget. We're live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back. Oh, okay.
Levi Lesko from Fresh Life Church in Montana will be at the pulpit of Calvary Church Albuquerque the weekend of May 19th.
I think sometimes when it comes to the new year and all of our planning for change and all of our hopes for transformation, the problem is oftentimes we think too small. A mentor of mine told me a while back that most of us underestimate what we can do in the long term, but we overestimate what we can do in the short term. That's our problem. We look at a short period of time and we think we can do so much in the short term. And we look at a long period of time and we underestimate what we can actually accomplish if we just stick with it. Trouble is, so many of us have tragically short attention spans. And the stick-with-itness is evaporating from younger generations, millennial and younger.
Levi Lesko, Saturday and Sunday, May 19th and 20th at Calvary Church Albuquerque.
Darius Daniels with a solar flare. Just because God isn't talking to you about the problem doesn't mean he isn't working on the answer. A solar flare on Star 88.
My feet were made to march like thunder. My lips to praise in awe and wonder. My hands all power and my lungs breathe fire. Holy Spirit fire. Holy Spirit fire. All on your love I stand. Because of who you are, I know who I am. Wherever I will go, wherever you will lead, I never walk alone. Your spirit is with me. Oh, you're with me as I go, so I will not be afraid. You call me to be brave. In you, you call me to be brave. No height, no depth, no fear can shake me. Held firm, your hands will never fail me. I won't lose strength, for your strength is mine. You will be my light through the darkest night. All on your love I stand. Because of who you are, I know who I am. Wherever I will go, wherever you
Judah Smith seeks to define the purpose and meaning in life. He says life is to trust God in every moment.
This is how faith works. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen. Now, I wish faith was the substance of things we had and the evidence of things we see, but it's not. Now, a lot of us in this room, this is not my message. This is free. This is bonus material. This is a hidden track, okay? But a lot of us, we say, God, I'll do it if you first do. God said, no, go ahead and start stepping, and then I'll meet you. Do you remember our father Abraham? Father Abraham started moving and didn't know where he was going. Remember that? Abraham started a caravan of travelers. Here we go, let's go. And people would say, Abraham, where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I'm just following God. It's the life of faith. It says, as they went, they were healed.
Trust God in every moment. That's Judah Smith with a Star 88 PowerPoint.
What's going on in the news today?
President Trump says his meeting with Kim Jong-un will take place in Singapore on June 12th.
It's going to be a very big success.
The Federal Communications Commission set June 11th as the repeal date for Obama-era net neutrality rules aimed at preventing broadband companies from getting more control over what you do on the Internet.
On Wall Street, solid gains for a second day in a row, led by the tech sector. Dow Jones Industrials up 196 points, S&P 500 up 25, NASDAQ up 65. Among the big tech gainers, Apple, Facebook, and Google.
Ford not able to say when production of its F-150 pickup will resume.
The air in Santa Barbara County, California was filled with the scent of fresh flowers. Now it's gone to pot, and a lot of people are complaining. Greenhouses in Carpinteria that used to grow flowers are filled with marijuana plants these days. Cannabis cultivators moved in when the flower business moved to South America.
An overwhelming majority of pilots at WestJet are in favor of strike action.
The Order of Canada celebrates citizens who have made outstanding contributions.
Morning Invasion.
Oh, hi.
Being brought to you by Preston Hart, screen printing, live printing, graphic design. PrestonHart.com. Welcome to the show, everybody. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. It's Star 88. Morning, Steph. Good morning, Thebes. Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome to the show. Phone line's open 505-338-3700. And you can text in on the live line. What's that number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483.
Sam Swann going to be on the show coming up a little after 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
He's back from Israel. I'm sure he has a lot to talk about. And Patrick Fabian, he is on Better Call Saul. And he's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, Howard. We're going to talk to him, bro.
Yep.
I got some things to say.
Can't wait. 8 o'clock, we'll be joined by Patrick Fabian. He stole Kelly Kapowski.
Did anybody ever really steal Kelly Kapowski from Zach Morris?
No.
He kissed her. She was crushing on her professor. You know, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk to him. It's going to be fun.
Be a good time.
I got a couple games for him, so.
Do you want to try to call your mom, or you want to wait till she tries to text you back?
I mean, we could try to call her. It might be better. Nothing like trying to wake up your mom to wish her a happy Mother's Day.
We just got off the phone with my mom up in Montana, where it's raining, and she is opening up the Costco in Bozeman, Montana. She is a hard-working mom. Love you, Mom. If you missed that, we're on demand. Or you can go back to YouTube and Facebook after the show and watch it. Watch it happen. Mother's Day on Sunday.
It's ringing.
It's your mom, what? She 37?
Yeah.
37 years old?
38 this summer.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty great. But I feel like she's not going to answer because I texted and she's...
Well, you know, when you're retired. And
you know...
Well, good morning.
Oh, you did answer. I wasn't sure if you were going to answer, Mama.
That's my mom.
Hi, Mama.
Well, hi, honey. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Oh, well, good morning, everybody.
Sleepy voice.
I just wanted to call because Sunday is Mother's Day, and we don't we don't do a show on Mother's Day. So
Right.
Yeah, so I just had to say hello, good morning, welcome. Did we wake you up?
Yes, you did.
Perfect. It's
time to get up.
See, I just, I texted, but I just, it's only like 6:30 out there where she's at.
Yes, it is, and we were helping your sister move into her new house yesterday.
Oh,
so tired.
So we were pretty tired.
Yeah.
And
what a great Mother's Day gift this
I know, I probably should have let you just sleep in.
No, that's quite all right. I love hearing from you.
Oh, that didn't sound like
It's just, Well,
Yeah.
So, hi, Mom.
Good morning, honey.
So we talked to Dex's mom, and there's one big question we had because, Mother's Day is on Sunday, and back in the day, as kids, we always made those stupid little Mother's Day thingies in school or whatever. Was there?
They weren't stupid.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, was there one Mother's Day gift that stands out? Do you remember from
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, you made me a ring holder.
I remember that.
A ring holder?
Yeah, it was out of clay. And
out of clay.
Dex
and
made an
green.
ashtray for his mom.
I did. You can
He
put
made
rings
an
in that,
ashtray.
too.
But no, this is a ring holder. It's circular, and then there's a thing in the middle that you can stack your rings on. I actually remember.
That's
making
right.
That.
And it's green, and I still have it.
You still have it?
Wow.
Yes, I do.
That thing's 30 years old. Wait, how old am I?
Yeah.
It's 35 years old.
Yes, I know, honey, but I still have it.
Wow, that's amazing that my mom kept those things and your mom
Pretty cool.
didn't care.
No, she still has them. They're in a box down in the basement
I'm
somewhere.
sure. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What else?
Another thing I still have. You made me a bunny rabbit.
I remember
You
that
made
as
a
well.
bunny rabbit?
Yeah, in a kiln. I made this bunny and then I painted it, and then they fired it up and
What?
Yeah, it's got my name on
Yep.
it, Steven.
I still have that too.
That's crazy.
Wow.
No,
you
I have that in
all
my.
of the
I
things
have
I
that in my
Man.
in my little cabinet.
Okay.
And so yes, I have that also.
Wow.
So, I kept all of that because everything that you made for me was so special.
Yeah, it's true.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yeah, my mom loves me more.
Yes.
No, that's
That's
not
cool.
I mean, moms are different. And
Moms are very different.
materialistic things, they're not very important to my mom. And, she doesn't need a whole
There's
lot.
nothing materialistic about something that your child pours their soul into when they're,
true.
there's literal blood, sweat, and tears on my bunny.
That's true.
She kept it.
Yeah, really.
She kept it all.
And I'll show them to you when you come visit.
That's right. I'm supposed to come visit for Memorial Day because my son has a baseball tournament.
Nice.
Still trying to work out
That's
the logistics
right.
of time
That's
off.
right.
Because it's
And
really
so-
difficult to do that right now. even
It's
though
weird how I
it's
can
weird.
take
It's
time
weird
off and
how
you can't.
can take
That's
a
weird.
month, but I can't take a day.
Oh.
So yeah,
You're
yep.
just more important than me. That's why.
Yep. So.
No. Anyway, yes, I remember those things that you got me for Mother's Day, and of course, I'd already mentioned the beautiful necklace that you got me.
Beautiful
Love
necklace.
that. Love that.
And that's it. And it had all the little gold items hanging from it that said
Little
"Mom."
trinkets. It was the first Mother's Day after my dad died, and
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that she had something special because it's important.
Yep.
So I
That's right. So you went shopping for me at Lena Stevens. I still remember in Lubbock.
In Lubbock, Texas.
And yes, and you wanted to go shopping for me by yourself. So I called the store and gave you my credit card, and I think it was Eloisa that took you.
Yeah,
and you walked around the store. And you picked up several items, and one of them was that necklace that I still have.
And a flowery dress.
No kidding.
Yeah, a flower.
And you bought me a dress, and you bought me some perfume.
I see. I did.
And it was for my first Mother's Day by myself.
Yep.
Oh, man.
After your dad died. So I thought that was very special.
I was 6 years old with a credit card.
You were. That's right. 6 years old, and you had my credit card.
I sure did. Well,
Yep.
Mother's Day obviously is a day that's been very important to me, being raised by you, being my
Yes.
mom and my dad and my everything. And so I'm sorry I'm not going to be there on Sunday, but I want you to know I love you, and I'm so thankful for you and for raising me. And I always wanted Mother's Day to be important for you, because I don't think one day is enough to celebrate how incredible you are and all of the sacrifices you made in your life to make sure that my life was not terrible. So.
Oh, honey. Well, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful to be your mother.
Oh.
And, I'm glad God chose me.
That's cool.
I'm glad God chose you, too, because it took a very strong woman to raise this kid, bro.
Oh, I bet.
Especially without a dad. So I'm just saying.
I've heard the stories.
You did a pretty good job.
Man.
I tried really hard to make it difficult, so.
Well, yeah, you did.
I really did.
But you know what? It was worth it, and I'm so proud of you, and good morning, Dex.
Good morning.
And so I'm very happy that you called me, and I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Mama. Go back to sleep now. You go back to sleep.
I will. I have a little bit of a scratchy throat.
You do. I can hear it.
Man, I wish.
It's my allergies, I think.
I do. They're terrible
Everything's
this year.
blooming here.
Yep, it's
so
awful.
what can I say?
Bad. It's bad.
Okay.
Pollen's bad.
Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and
You
I
too,
love
Mama.
you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Oh.
Man, my mom loves me so much more.
That's my mom!
Oh, just remembers every
what are you
single.
crying about?
Thanks, Mom.
Okay.
Two totally different moms.
But you know what? Very similar in certain regards.
Yeah.
The love and fear and reverence of God and instilling that in us and raising two idiots like us to be better than we probably were trajectoried to be.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's one thing that you could get out of this show is that, man.
We are dumb.
We are. And we make pretty terrible mistakes in our lives. And you know what? God is good.
Yep.
He's faithful. And I was talking to somebody a couple days ago about this, and I haven't thought about this in a long time, and it meant so much to me because, as a father of three amazing kids, and there's times where we get mad at God. We decide that we don't have anything to do with God. God, why'd you do this? You're frustrated. And there's times where you feel close to God.
Mm-hmm.
And, having kids, there's times where my kids, they're yelling at me. They're saying things that are hurtful. They're not talking to me.
Acting a fool.
And somebody,
Luda.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody reminded me, man, we do the same thing to God,
Yep.
But he never, ever, ever gives up on us.
He doesn't.
Always there. He's always knocking on the door.
Knock,
Constantly
on
knocking.
heaven's door.
Just knocking
Dylan.
on that door.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing about God. And that's I think about that as a father. And no matter what my kids ever do to me, I don't care what they say to me. I don't care how they act, what they do. I will never, ever, ever shut the door in their face.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
When you come home and don't know when, we'll get together there.
Oh, what are you crying about?
I just, life happens fast.
That's right. That's right.
Really, really fast.
That's right.
So
for those of you out there that might be dealing with that situation, maybe your kids are not talking to you at the moment. Maybe they're frustrated with you. Maybe they've said some awful things. Hey, don't give up on them.
Yeah.
Text them every day. Tell them how much you love them and that you're there for them no matter what, man, because, teenagers, they're dumb.
Dude, but we're all dumb.
Well,
I'm a grown-up, and I'm still dumb.
I'm just saying their brain is not fully developed. And
my brain's not fully developed.
You know what? Mine
never
isn't
get
either.
over it.
You're right. What am I talking about?
Maybe
Mine's
on the
never
flip
been
side,
developed.
maybe you're that rebellious person. You could be a grown-up still rebellious and be like, I don't want to stamping your feet at God, acting like an idiot. It's okay because he still loves you. That's what is insane to me about everything. That unlike our very conditional temporal love that we have within us, he is unconditionally loving. And the grace and mercy and compassion he has for his children is just ridiculous. And so, man, I'm so glad we got to call our moms because it is a reminder, that Sunday is a very, very important day. And even if your mom says, it's not important, I know your mom greatly cared for that phone call this morning.
Heck yeah,
And
that
it
was her gift every
exactly.
year. I've given her a
and-
gift every year.
Yeah, so
It's a phone call. I love that.
on the phone that she pays for.
Yeah, exactly. Quit telling people that. Yeah, whatever.
I get it. I pay my son's cell phone bill too. I mean, he's 14.
Wow.
but-
Okay. I love when we talked to her. She was all like, I'm just glad I can do it for him. I'm just not ready to stop paying that for him.
And you're like, and it's probably cheaper. Oh, no, it's not.
Not cheaper.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then find out Michael John's on there too. He's 40.
Good times.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I mean, then we talked to my mom, and she spent her whole day yesterday helping my baby sister move. So it's like parents never give up. They
Never
just
give
keep doing things for their kids. And I'm like, dang, I got to do that forever with mine? Oh, I thought 18 was it.
No, it's not.
You don't get
not
to
it.
just give up control at 18?
No.
Dang it.
No.
In it to win it, bro.
Yeah.
In it to win it.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And we're talking about some pretty cool moments with our moms.
Yeah.
And, they were sharing some moments where, the gifts. I gave my mom an ashtray when I was a young kid. I think I made her multiple ashtrays.
That's because it was the easiest thing.
It really was.
Mine, the one that she's talking about that somehow she still has, is essentially the same thing. It's like a
Yeah.
saucer that could be an ashtray.
Yeah.
But then there's this like peg in the middle that you just stack your rings
Yeah.
on. So it's like, oh, it's a ring holder. It was supposed to be an ashtray, but I'm like, my mom doesn't smoke.
My mom didn't smoke at the time either, but I made her an ashtray.
And then you drove, so you enabled her.
I did.
Gosh,
she
just
probably
causing your mom to stumble.
She probably was smoking.
Can't do that, bro. It's bad.
So let's talk about magical moments. There was a survey where they found the most magical moments in a person's life. And what do you think? What do you think the top 3 are, according to this survey? When you think of magical moments in life, what do you think?
Oh, gosh.
Stormy, you can chime in. 585 Live, or we're on Facebook or YouTube. You can go
As
there,
a
Stormy.
parent or just in your own life?
In your own life. Yeah.
A
when
magical
you think
moment.
about it, what's a magical moment in your life?
Do you want me to lie?
No. I mean, what's a magical moment?
Because I could think of a quick top 3 that would be like
Avengers Infinity War.
No. Because I don't want to mock. So I'm like, important moments in my life. When I truly surrendered my life to Christ. Holding my first son.
Oof.
When I got married.
Okay.
All of those are a lie. But I mean, that's probably what I should say, right?
Well, you nailed 2 of them.
Did I?
Yeah. You getting married and having a baby were in the top 3.
Now, let me clarify. I'm being comical because sometimes people don't understand when I'm being comical. Very clearly, the best decision I've ever made is surrendering my life to Christ.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, period, the end. Recognizing that I'm a sinner in need of redemption and that like there was a price to be paid and that I could never pay it myself and God's unconditional love. So I was like, I'm not going to Jesus juke it. And I'm like, you know what? I better so that I don't get a stupid letter for somebody who doesn't understand comedy.
Right.
Yes, very clearly.
No, I mean, that's a magical moment for sure.
Another magical moment when Patrick texts me and says he's on the campus and I have to go get him.
Oh, Patrick Fabian, everybody.
Just so you know, guy who didn't trust him.
Hey, you know what? I apologize. Thank you for calling. Phone lines are open, 505-338-3700. What are your magical moments in life? See if you can hit some of these on the list. The top 3, Steve-O already hit 2 of them. You know, if you're a parent having a baby, getting to hold your baby for the first time, magical. Getting married was also in the top 3. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
To accept, press 1.
Ooh.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Good morning. Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, welcome to the show.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually expect to get through.
No, you're on. What's up?
Oh, awesome. Well, I was just listening to you guys talk about all the different things for Mother's Day and magical moments, and so I had 2 short comments. One of them, my husband's and I's magical moment, was getting to pick up our 3 beautiful babies and finalize our adoption.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
Yeah, and so this is going to be a really special Mother's Day for me because this will be my first one, and so it'll be times 3.
Beautiful.
And then the second thing that I just wanted to say is for everybody out there that is not a mom or that wants to be or is single, that there is lots of people around you to invest in that need mother figures. And so just make sure you're looking for those people and don't feel left out in the process.
Beautiful. I love that. That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Anyway, you're welcome. Have a great day, guys.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. 505-338-3700 if you'd like to call in, or you can text in on the live line, 585-LIVE. And, man.
Are we going to introduce him now?
Yeah.
Are we just doing this?
I want to apologize to Mr. Fabian
I
because
can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure that, you were actually going to show up.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. How are you?
Second
Good morning.
guessing everything.
Oh, yeah?
You mean you never know?
He's negative Nancy, dude.
You never
If Kurt watch out, right?
Yeah. Dude, Curtis the movie guy, friend of the show, friend in real life. Good dude.
He's such a great guy.
He is.
Curtis is great.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, man.
Thanks for having me in. Good morning to everybody.
Yeah. So I hear you're quite the adventurer. You like to get out and just, go out and go crazy and experience things.
New Mexico for me has become, when I first got the job, I live in Los Angeles. I've been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm a big beachhead. I love the ocean.
Yeah, dude.
So when I got this job, I was like, thumbs up. Yay, I got this great job. And then they say it shoots in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I go, oh, wait a second.
Yep.
Where's the surf in Albuquerque?
Yep. I get it.
I'll be honest. I was a little sketchy about that.
Yeah, dude.
But the great thing about it is, you come out and literally when you get off the plane, all of a sudden that blue sky and those white clouds, which Los Angeles does not possess.
Right.
And from there, it just became one hike after another. It started up La Luz and Sandia.
Yeah.
Just recently, I went over to Jemez Falls. I've hiked up in Bandelier. All over the place. And the crew that's here. I mean, it's funny, much like any town that anybody lives in, they forget their own backyard. So I come back from these adventures and like, dude, where's that? And I'm like, it's that mountain right over there.
Yeah, right?
But, people have lives. They've got things going on. And and they sort of forget. So I'm here to remind you, you live in the land of enchantment is not just a slogan. It really is out there. The other day I went to Jemez Falls. I went up the 4 into Jemez Springs. And I went to Battleship Rock, if anybody knows that campground. And Trail 137 takes you up and around to Macaulay Warm Springs. Unless you're me and you start singing by yourself in the woods. Yes, I was hiking by myself. Don't do that, kids. And I turned around and literally, like a bad movie, I look around and I'm like, oh, I'm off the trail.
Dude.
Like I'm just literally
service isn't epic up there either.
No,
like,
it's no
pretty
service
bad.
on the phone. So I'm standing there and I'm like, well, it's sunny. What could possibly bad go wrong? But I'm alone in the woods and I'm off trail and I'm like, what a moron. You're finally going to make the paper in Albuquerque as yet another Californian.
Oh my gosh.
Mauled by a bear.
Yeah. Or a cat.
Dude, but you're an adventurer everywhere. I know, we're up against the hour. I know we got to take a break, but coming back, I really want to talk about this because following you on Instagram, no matter where you're shooting, whether it's New York or in LA or here, dude, you are out and about. We are kindred spirits in that. So I definitely want to talk about adventuring and exploring because
absolutely,
it's good. Also coming up, we found a list of the top 80s and 90s television series according to state. So we got some quizzes for you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in everything, man.
I've been in all of those shows, I'm sure.
Seriously.
And I'm going to quiz you. I also have 5 TV shows that you were on. I've got the synopsis of your episode. And you got to tell me what TV show it was.
Ooh.
Love it.
We got some fun today with Patrick Fabian, man. This is going to be good.
We're going to take a quick break. We're live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Back with Patrick Fabian from Better Call Saul next.
I'm Heidi, and here's what's happening. Calvary Church Nob Hill will be hosting a free kids movie matinee at the Lobo Theater on May 25th at 2 p.m. What's the movie? We have the inside info. Join them as they watch a colorful kids movie that talks about their feelings, joy, fear, anger, disgust, and sadness. You don't want to miss out. Join First Baptist West Albuquerque for VBS June 4th through the 8th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Kids ages 4 through 6th grade are welcome. Don't miss this week of fun. There's going to be Bible studies, games, worship, and so much more. It's that time of year again. If you know about a VBS happening at your church, let us know. We'll talk about it on the air and feature it on our website. All you have to do is send us an email to thewire@star88.fm. For more information about events happening in your community and so much more, visit star88.fm. For what's happening, I'm Heidi, and this is Star 88.
Tony Evans. This is a Star 88 Supernova.
Refusal to submit to the divine order is the basis of all sin. The basis of all sin, no matter what the sin is a refusal to submit to the divine order of things. And please do not miss it, the divine order is the only one God is interested in. He's not interested in anybody's order but his. Adam said, but the woman. But God said, but what did I say? God is only interested and will only work through his order. In fact, you don't have to turn there, but 2 Corinthians 2:9 says God will test us to see whether we will fall in line.
That was Pastor Tony Evans on a Star 88 Supernova. A soundtrack for your soul. This is Star 88 on KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Star88.fm.
When the water rose above my knees, I took my flesh and I threw it to the sea. My darling, I'm drowning in disbelief. Oh.
Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
We choose to express ourselves through music.
Good morning, everyone. Dex and Steve-O, joined by Patrick Fabian.
Yes.
Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Patrick Fabian of Better Call Saul. And You guys are getting close to wrapping up filming, right, for this season?
Yeah, we're working on season 4 right now, and we are literally working on our last episode. And to anybody who's out there, I'm sorry that we are delayed in getting season 4 to you. By this time, you're probably watching it last year. But this year's going to be a midsummer, but you're going to be very, very satisfied with what's coming down the pipe.
Man. I feel like, well, see, I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole we can go with this, because the season finale last year was like jaw-dropping and, okay, well, where are we going to go from here?
Right, very judgmental. And I know what you're doing. I'm trying to talk around because people haven't seen it yet, but it is on Netflix right now.
Stuff, so
Season 3 is on Netflix, and if you didn't watch it the first time around on AMC, you know, my suggestion is to not wait 2 years to catch up to the show,
right?
Because the internet has a way of catching up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to it, and of course, I feel like your character is probably going to have a pretty prominent role this next season because of the finale.
Well, I will say this though, because my mother asks the same questions when they watch it. My mom and dad will watch it. God bless them. They live in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And my dad's 85, my mom's 81, and you know they thought I peaked when I guest starred on Murder, She Wrote back in 1992. For those of you out there, Murder, She Wrote was a very popular show.
Was that the first one? The first thing you did?
It wasn't the first thing, but literally, you know, my mom and dad were like, "Well, look, you worked with Angela Lansbury. Congratulations." But now I'm on Better Call Saul, which, if you can imagine at this point, you know, they'd never watched Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So they're watching this, and they're trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Right.
So mostly I get a call, but, you know, I love them so much. They're such good people. I know that they're falling asleep in their lazy boys watching it at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday when it airs. And because I get a call at 11 o'clock their time because they've just finished watching it.
Yeah.
And they always call up and say, like, well, you look nice. Are you going to have any more to do next week? So I'm like, Mom, the show's not called Better Call Howard. And so season 4 is also not called Better Call Howard. We'll have to wait for the spinoff for that.
Gosh,
I love
man.
that.
But the character you play is a pretty incredible character because you feel for him. It's not like he's not a bad guy necessarily, but I'm sure people hate Howard.
Oh, I get stopped all the time in airports.
Really?
And I was just in New York, and some jogger was jogging past, and he didn't even pause. He just took his earbuds out, and he goes, "Straighten up, Howard, straighten up." And I was like, okay. You know, the writers are good though. Right out of the gates in season 1. You know, we're all on Jimmy's side. You know, Saul's side really. You know, Bob Odenkirk has really shown a lot of goodwill. Whether that's earned or not or good is sort of the question watching. But you know, he identifies me as Lord Vader out of the gates, and so the whole audience is like, "You're bad.
You're the bad guy." Yeah.
But then we introduce Chuck, and you know, over the course of 2 or 3 seasons, all of a sudden we see that maybe Howard isn't so bad. You know, I like to say that Howard's just trying to, you know, his best to run a law firm, but these McGill brothers are really screwing it up.
Yeah.
It's probably better for you now because you used to be known as the person who stole Zach's girl, Kelly Slater. That's what people were mad at you about, right?
Kelly Kapowski broke it right.
I believe the phrase is he kissed Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah. You were the professor.
Professor Lasky with some of the most beautiful hair I ever had. Beautiful. It was Sean Cassidy area is what that was.
So great.
Dude, you've been in so many things. So with that being said, if you're just joining us, Patrick Fabian in studio hanging out. Make sure you get to facebook.com/star88fm or youtube.com/star88fm. You can see him in all of his glory.
His hair is still beautiful.
I've got a quick game for you because you've been in looking at your IMDb page.
I have been around for a while. Yes,
you have been in some pretty incredible shows.
Yes,
you have, and so I went back and did some research.
Ooh.
All right, everybody, welcome. This is your live Patrick Fabian. Here's how the game works. I'm going to go ahead and give you the synopsis of the episode you were on, and you've got to tell me, what TV show am I talking about?
All right, I'm game.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I will say this. I did change up names because, you know, I can't just give you the synopsis with the character names. That's too easy.
Fair enough. Let's see if I remember what I was actually doing with my life.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
The sister returns home to find her bedroom taken over by her brother, and her parents angry that she dropped out of school. Meanwhile, college registration is too much for the cool one on the show. Him and the sister have a kindred spirit, so they decide to pair up for a fishing trip to talk about their futures. Meanwhile, the cute couple try to audition for the DJs on the California University radio show while the nerd tries to get in with the university's newspaper, The Condor.
Yeah, that would be Saved by the Bell, the college years.
That is so close, but no!
No, you know what?
No way!
Oh, man, not even knowing your own life. Here's the thing. You said the California thing.
California University radio show. That's right, but the cute couple I was talking about was David and Andrea. No, not Andrea. Andrea was the nerd. Sorry, I took out the nerd name. Who was played by Tori Spelling.
Oh, gosh.
The show is 90210.
Wow.
You don't remember that, Patrick? Come on.
Wow. 90210 was I think I was the president of KEG, the
exactly.
fraternity.
And I didn't get that far because
Yes.
Steve tried to get Brandon in on the fraternity life on the CU campus.
Because I remember I had a great line. I was wearing like the preppy collar thing, and I said something like, "Gentlemen, we are KEG," or something like that.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Sorry. Wow.
Man, I thought he was going to nail all of these.
I did too.
Well, you're assigning me much more intelligence than I actually have.
I'm doing some trickery here, okay? Okay, in order to win this game, you got to get 2 out of 3. So,
oh, my gosh.
You've already failed. You've already failed.
I gave it away, and now it's dramatic
Well,
now.
okay, you know what? I'll give you an easy one.
All right. Wow, that was good.
The taping of an infomercial by the lead character and 2 fellow novelists is plagued by problems, including the mysterious death of an audience member.
Oh, wow.
Name the show.
I did this?
He's so old. He's so old, guys.
Okay.
You want me to give you a really big hint?
Yeah, I think I need one. I have a first guess, and I'll
okay.
say. Can I get Criminal Minds?
Nope.
I know the infomercial thing. Oh my gosh, I'm going. Oh boy.
I'll give you a huge guess.
He's done so many.
I went easy because you've already referenced the show today.
Saved by the Bell?
No!
I keep going to back. What? It's like I've done one show. Wait, what did I reference?
It's such a mystery.
Oh,
I mean, come on.
Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah!
Wow. That's okay. Okay, to be fair, that was 1992. So half your listeners, by the way, they don't even know what 1992 was.
That was going to be like the difficult one, but then you referenced it in the show already, and I was like, oh, Murder, She Wrote. He's going to get this one.
What I remember about Murder, She Wrote was this, that the success doesn't have to make you an idiot. Angela Lansbury, my parents would be happy, was so nice. She would already start Broadway and stage and movies.
Yeah.
She's doing a TV show. She made it a real family affair. Her husband was there, her son directed, and she was probably 8 or 9 years into the run. Very successful show.
Yeah.
And so what she would do was call up her older actor friends who hadn't worked enough. And in the Screen Actors Guild union at the time, you had to make a certain amount of money in order to get your health insurance. So what Angela Lansbury would do would call up her friends and say, how close are you to getting your insurance for the year?
That's cool.
And they'd say, like, I'm $5,000 away, or I'm whatever the difference was.
No way.
She would make CBS pay them that as their salary.
Amazing.
So she basically gave health insurance to all of her older actor friends who had sort of, who weren't as successful as her. So I witnessed that as, a sense of empathy and using your power for good.
Yeah.
And then also, I was, this is 1992.
Yeah.
I was much younger. I was just out of college. I was green, and I'm sure I was just annoying, like nipping at her heels. Tell me another story, Angela.
Right.
And I really was like that. But at one point, she was patiently giving me ideas of like her best times on Broadway and this and that. And she started humming a tune, a Gershwin tune, like a T for Two type thing.
Yeah.
And I happened to know it. And I also happened at that point in my life, be able to tap dance a little bit. So she gets up, and all of a sudden she sticks her hand out, and I put my hand out, and we start doing like a little soft shoe, singing some Gershwin.
Cool.
Now, coming out of college, I didn't know what to expect, and frankly, that really hasn't happened a lot since.
Right.
But what a great entree into work, which is a great way of masking the fact that I totally and completely forgot I was on the show.
I love it. That's so great. Patrick Fabian hanging out with us right now from Better Call Saul.
Okay.
0 for 2. Maybe I'll go 0 for 3.
2, man.
Come on, man.
And I seriously was like, I'm going to get some of the bigger ones. Make it a little easier. Okay. The main character has to comply with another one of the villain's demands, the death of the regional director. Meanwhile, a co-worker of the main character discovers that one of the infected hotel patrons got out before the quarantine was enforced. Name the show.
24.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Good job, Patrick Fabian. One of the greatest shows ever on TV.
My oldest son, he is
Yes.
14 years old. His name is Jack, and I will confess he is, in fact, named after Jack Bauer.
Wow.
You're a great dad.
You know,
You're a great
dad. I was trying Jack Jeter. Come on, it's a strong name.
It's a strong name.
JJ, sure.
I love that, and so I was trying so hard to convince my wife because I'm like, Jack Jeter. It just sounds like he's going to be a baseball player. It's going to be great. It sounds like a great name, and it was a no, and then 24 started, and I'm like, Jack Bauer's pretty cool.
Yep.
Kiefer Sutherland's pretty
He's the
great.
best.
What do you think about that?
That pushed her over the edge?
And that got her. That got her right there to like the gate, and then the finish line was that year Pirates of the Caribbean came out.
Yeah.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Then you were all in.
There were a lot of cool Jacks back then. So
Any moments with Kiefer?
No moments with Kiefer because, of course, I played a sweaty virus guy. And I was a guy everybody wanted to stay away from it. I go to work the first day, and I'm hoping, hey, I'm going to meet Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Won't that be fun? And we'll become best friends. And that did not happen. Instead, I went and had hair and makeup, and they immediately made me up. And they made me up as what I was, which was sweaty virus guy.
Sure.
So I was all full of, I was just sweaty. I was gross.
Yeah.
Then we go to lunch. I haven't met anybody. I've made no friends. And when you're sweaty virus guy,
Nobody wants to hang out with you.
wants to eat lunch with you.
Right.
And that's pretty much how the rest of the show went for me.
Oh,
They're just
good.
like, we're not going to get to know you because you look like that.
Dude, gosh. Okay, one for
amazing.
three. One for three.
One for these pretty sad.
Pretty
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry about that.
I've got two more.
Let's see if I can redeem myself. Give me a shot.
I'm gonna. All right.
All right.
This one's a little closer to 2018.
That's all
that
right.
might help. That might help. The star of a fashion house reality show is found in a Manhattan alley, but she has bruises from captivity elsewhere from the day she went missing. The team unravels complex rivalries for parts, infidelity, spin-offs. Meanwhile, the co-stars fear the captain will discover their relationship after he accidentally dropped her Valentine's Day present in the captain's coat.
I did this?
Yes, you did! Yes, you did!
Captain's coat. The fashion stuff.
Fashion stuff. It was in Manhattan. The lead actor and actress were secretly involved in a relationship, and they were worried the captain was going to discover it.
Castle?
Yeah!
Good job, Patrick. Patrick Fabian, everybody.
There we go. Oh, right. Oh, I was an awful character on that. That was
You
totally...
were a terrible character!
Terrible guy.
But, dude, you play such a great, I don't know, you're pretty well-rounded, I gotta say, man, because you can play, the sleazy dude, but then you can also, bring it home and have the heart, so...
Well, that's what I'm known as, the sleaze bag with the heart of gold. That's... Mom and Dad will be so proud.
So proud. Welcome to the show, Sam Swann. Sorry, man. I was we started the show. Sam's outside.
No worries.
It's
Hi, Sam.
okay. Hi. Sam, Patrick, Sam.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Patrick.
meet you.
Yeah, man.
It's hot in here. I apologize.
Dude,
the
it
AC is
is.
broken.
It
so
is.
that's fun. That's fun. Perfect timing to have Patrick in.
Yeah.
Last one.
Last one?
See if I can do it.
Okay, here we go. Patrick Fabian,
I'm not going to
everybody.
give you any hints because right now it's this would be 3 for 5. This is no clues, no hints.
I'm either a winner or a loser right now. Give it to me.
The gang take the free spirit to the hospital after she goes into labor. The sister threatens to go on a date with a male nurse after the boyfriend claims they're just goofing around. Meanwhile, the jock gets treated for kidney stones.
I take it back. The hair that I had as Professor Lasky was kind of okay. But my most beautiful hair
Yes, it was
Nurse Dan on
Yeah!
Friends. The 100th episode.
You were on Friends.
Yeah.
You were on Friends, man.
I was on Friends. It was their 100th episode.
Gosh. Yeah, dude.
And
it was a good episode.
It was really fun. Phoebe gives birth to the triplets.
Yep.
And I have to say, at that point, I mean, it's the 100th episode. They are the Friends. They are rich and famous and funny, and they could easily be aloof and maybe not interested. And it was the exact opposite, I have to say. It was 6 of the funniest people I'd ever seen. The whole show was geared towards, we don't care where the idea comes from. Wow. Let's make it really funny. Matthew Perry, in particular, was... there's 6 friends. So in 22 and a half minutes of television, they really have to cram them in. So if you're a guest star, you're lucky to get a line or two that actually survives.
Yeah.
Especially when one of the leads is giving birth. So,
Right.
But Matthew Perry, I just want to tell this because he was so fun. When we were rehearsing, he liked the whole idea that he and I were having a rivalry for Monica. So he worked out this whole bit with me walking down a hallway, sort of like a silent dumb show of us sort of passing one another, double taking, triple taking, and then him running into a door. Really funny gag. And at this point, you know, they were the friends. It's 100 episodes.
Right.
So on the run through, he said, we're just going to do it. And I'm like, don't we have to clear this with somebody? But he was like, don't worry, I'll take the heat. So we're on the run through, and all of a sudden we're moving through the sets, and the AD's like, all right, moving on to set 4. And Matthew's like, no, actually, we have a hallway scene. And they're like, what? So we show it to him. I'm nervous as heck. But we show it to them, and they fall out laughing.
Yes.
They're like, great. So we're totally going to, so we tape this on tape night. The audience is roaring.
Oh, man.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch The Friends, and then of course, we get to that, and I have like 3 lines. That's it. That whole hallway scene is cut.
Oh!
Well, there's not enough time for a silent dump show. She's giving birth.
That is amazing.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Oh, man. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's Studio Patrick Fabian. Join
3
us.
for 5.
Man, Facebook.com/Star88FM, YouTube.com/Star88FM. You did really well.
No. You know what? No.
3 out of 5,
5. These are all things he's been in.
Yeah, that's true. I've missed 2/3 of my own life. That's not good.
I mean, you're looking.
But who doesn't do that? Who doesn't miss 2/3 of their own life?
That's true.
Looking at IMDb, you have, it says 134 credits.
Yeah.
I feel like getting 3 out of 5 on
You know
TV
what?
shows.
I take it back.
I took out the names. I made it pretty difficult because I didn't want it to be like Kelly, you know, so I had to make it a little more difficult. And so to get 3 out of 5 is pretty incredible.
I'm sure,
Thank you for a time of your
doing
life.
everything that you've done since, the 90s, you probably get so many just random checks in the mail, and you open them up and you're like, whoa, I don't remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's weird, I mean, I still get Murder, She Wrote checks from 1992. But before everybody goes like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, it's a check for like $4.50. Which, by the way, when it adds up after 25 years to get a payment is a great thing. But I mean,
sure.
You know, it's not like, oh, going to Malibu to buy a house.
Can't even go to Malibu and buy a burger for
No
that.
way.
Man. By the way, you have an incredible radio voice. People are chiming in left and right going, this is the best radio
podcast? Do you do a podcast or
I
anything?
don't do a podcast, and I'm not the voice of Cadillac or anything like that.
right.
You know, it's one of those weird things where, it seems to work. And it actually works really well because when when I go through airports and such like that, or if I'm on an airplane, I get recognized a lot because of my voice, which just tells me, one, that I don't know how to be quiet in public spaces. But people recognize that. And that's the power of TV. Again, it's that weird thing of like you're actually in people's homes.
Yeah.
And they're doing what they're doing. A lot of times they're watching you and they're in their pajamas and stuff like that. So there's an intimacy that is just deliberate in TV, which makes you feel like you know them, own them, and they're your friends.
Yeah.
And when you have a voice like this and you have to be the CEO in the beginning of a show who seems nice, but at the end he's getting arrested.
Right.
So people will stop me all the time and they go, hey, did we go to high school together? Which tells me how good my career is going. I go, no, I don't think so. And then they'll say, oh, you're an actor. And I think, oh, now we're on safe ground. I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, oh, what do I know you from? And then I'll sort of, terminate them in terms of like their age, what they might have watched. And I'll throw out something. I'm like, maybe you know Friends. And then they'll say, nah, that's not it.
No, that's not it.
So now I'm stuck in the St. Louis airport going over my resume with somebody just to find out that she like step by step or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's happened to me. I've been on an airplane multiple times and I've seen an actor and done that very thing. Like, I know that dude from somewhere. But I have never, ever approached them and said, hey, dude, what show are you on? Like,
I know, but
it's weird to me.
I also, it's fun. It's, I've been working for a long time, and it's always a compliment when somebody comes up to take time out of their life to say, like, hey, you've been in my life, and I've seen what you've done. Whether they like it or don't like it, it's always nice to get a reaction. So
that's good to hear. I saw Alan. I'm sorry. I saw Alan Alda in the airport in Albuquerque one time.
And you
and I got my guts, every ounce of strength I could to approach him because I'm like, this is Alan Alda.
Sure.
I mean, this is MASH. Hawkeye. So I paced back and forth where he was sitting like 15 times. Finally, I got the courage. I walked up.
He knew the first time, right?
He did. Because I laughed at him because he almost went into the women's restroom. Because he's looking at the paper, he's kind of trying to be incognito, and he almost turned in the women's restroom. And so I saw that, and I started laughing. That's what got my attention. And then he looked up, and I went, oh my God, that's Alan Alda. So I followed him into the men's restroom.
Oh, no. I
I went way down to the other side. They got man code inside there, of course.
Right.
So I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Alda, I just want to say that MASH is one of my all-time favorite television shows. And he looked at me with that Alan Alda grin and stuck his hand out and shook my hand and said, thank you very much. And then I tripped away.
Yeah,
Because my heart was beating like 7,000 beats a
Isn't that
second.
funny
Dude,
how
it
that
was
happens?
awesome. It was so cool.
Okay, for you, I mean, you've been in so many TV series, been part of many things. You've been in the industry for a lot of years, and I mean,
I'm old. Say it. It's okay.
No, Angela Lansbury. I mean, working with her in the beginning of your career is a pretty epic step. But has there ever been anyone, actor, otherwise, musician, that it was like, I don't know how to approach this person?
You know, I'm in that weird thing where I'm in the business, and so I also suffer from, you've been in my living room, and so therefore I know you. So I do even the worst thing. I'm like, oh, hi. And I look at them and smile, and they look at me, of course, because they're much more famous.
Right.
And they're like, I have no idea who you are.
Right.
Why are you looking at me so hungrily?
Right.
So you gotta really watch yourself. You know, in terms of being starstruck, I still, like, Harrison Ford was driving down Sunset Boulevard, and I was at a stoplight, and I looked over, and I'm like, that's Harrison Ford.
Right.
And so I went out of my way for 15 minutes so I could, I guess, tail him. It was really, and I thought, this is now getting weird, because he's now noticed that I'm, like, clearly beside him.
Amazing.
I'm like, what do I think's going to happen? We're going to go to lunch or something?
Right.
He's taking evasive moves to get away from you.
Right. Oh, man. Well, I do the same thing. I mean, come on. Growing up in Indiana Jones, Han Solo.
Yeah.
I mean, he's iconic.
Yeah.
So.
Is there ever a time where you don't necessarily like to be approached by fans, or is it, you know, I mean, being in the business, I know it's probably like wherever you're at, you're open game, right?
Yeah, you kind of are. I mean, look, it's not like I decided to not be public with what I do.
Right.
You know, for the most part, when I'm with my kids and I'm out with my family, you know, that's family time and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also, even though it's a weird world to live in anyways, with all of the digital devices and all the social media streams, I still feel it's kind of weird to have the kids witness that sort of thing too, because sometimes they're just like, what do these people want from you, Daddy?
Right.
I mean, they're 5 and 7, they're much more savvy now, and they're starting to get used to, they've come to set and stuff like that. But initially, when they're really small, I think it must be really odd to have strangers approach their father and then take pictures and then talk and then sign things and stuff like that. So that's why I leave my children at home, mostly.
Dude.
Good call.
Oh, man. Okay. So, you know, we talk about your amazing radio voice, and I'm such a nerd. I really would love to talk about this as much as we can. Looking at your IMDb, I mean, you mentioned your epic voice. Your epic voice, actually, recently has gotten you into. Is this a new arena for you, like at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have not had much of a voiceover career at all, which is okay. There's a lot of competition, a lot of really great voices out there.
There are, yes.
But always the dream is to be involved with, you know, some sort of great animation or Pixar or cartoon and all that sort of thing. And, you know, I'm not really a guy who has like 8 voices in him.
Right.
And there's a lot of men and women out there who do.
Yeah.
But if you can just find that one niche, that one thing that you can be identified with, I've always hoped for that. And in this case, I think what you're referring to is Warner Brothers has animation versions of Superman movies. Yeah. And I got involved with one that's a trailer's being released today called The Death of Superman.
Dude.
And
this guy's the biggest nerd ever.
And what I didn't realize is it's got a huge following.
Yeah, well, okay, so I mean, you look at my right or my left arm; it's an entire sleeve of. Well, this is X-Men, but I grew up just comics were my thing. I still collect comics to this day. I'm almost 40, and I'm still collecting comics. But Death of Superman, when it came out, it changed everything because to that point, deaths stuck. I mean, that was it. Like if somebody died in a comic book, that was it. They were gone forever. And then all of a sudden, DC was like, "We're gonna kill Superman." And they killed the most iconic character in the history of comic books. And people were going, but what is that?
You can't do that.
You can't do that. Like, they killed the Flash in the comics, and he was dead for like 27 years or something. I mean, they
really did bury him.
They really did. Like, they killed Superman. He's dead. They buried him, and he was gone. And then 4 fake Supermen kind of showed up on the scene, all claiming to be Superman. One of them being Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman, who was like my favorite villain growing up because he was like the Terminator. He looked like Superman, but half of his face was like metal. And Hank Henshaw. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at IMDb and it's like Death of Superman, voice Patrick Fabian, Hank Henshaw. And I was like, what? How does this happen? when? I'm texting him right now. No, I'll wait. I can't text him right now. It's 11 o'clock at night. So, but I mean, you did this.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I was saying, we were talking to the guys off the air, and it was my first animation, really. And so we went in and we laid down all the tracks first, just on the script and sort of getting emotions and all that sort of thing. And I am not a comic book head,
right?
So I don't know all the backstories, and I didn't even realize that about characters being killed and actually staying dead.
Yeah.
And so I'm working with these guys and gals, and they're all into it. They know what's going on, and I think they were having fun with the fact that I was sort of. I'm like, what do I do now? I'm like, who's this person? And they're also like, okay, that's Lois Lane. That's, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of that bad. So then basically it comes about like, okay, what's this guy? And they're like, he's like this. And I'm like, great. And so I'm doing the Hank Henshaw stuff, and then they show me the pictures later on. I go back in to dub more stuff because they match your mouth to the...
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sophisticated. The computer work and the animation is amazing what they do. And
wow.
So then I go back in just a couple of weeks ago to tighten some things up, and that's when they start showing me the screen of who I am and what my voice became. Wow. And it's just...
That's cool.
It's thrilling and cool, and I think they're going to premiere it down at San Diego Comic-Con in July. Nice. But there's going to be some teaser trailers left. There's a teaser out today in Warner Brothers, and I'm excited to see it. And then there's the death of Superman, and we're already working on the reign of Superman, which will be following it.
And that was, it was a big deal in comics because, like I said back then, deaths meant something, and so they killed Superman, but then they realized they just killed their most iconic character.
It's like let's screw with Coca-Cola. Let's get new Coke. Why was old Coke doing so bad?
Exactly. And so then DC was left in this place of like, oh no, what do we do? We just killed our most iconic character. And Reign of the Supermen was this big believing they were Superman.
Yeah.
Truly believing in their core, like, no, I'm Superman. And,
I'm it. Yeah.
And so it was really exciting. Unfortunately, a lot of people, like when you're saying, deaths, it doesn't really matter. We've kind of desensitized ourselves in not just with culture, but like in film and television, and especially when it comes to like superhero movies. Somebody dies, and you're like, yeah, but are they really dead?
Right.
They're going to come back in they're going to come back in 45 minutes, and it like doesn't really. It doesn't really capture that emotion because you're like, yeah, but it's a superhero movie. Are they really dead?
Right.
Which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, because the impact of what you want of losing a character like that should dramatically move things forward. There should be a void and a sense of loss. And
yes.
And you're right. Desensitized is definitely the word because you're like, well, you're right. They will be back, or they'll be back in the.
Right, exactly. Yes, without spoilers, I know what you're saying. So yeah. It's crazy because it really truly is unfortunate in storytelling now because you want it to stick. And I think it does in certain regard because, whether it's Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, more real world, if you will, television series, if a character dies, well, that character's dead.
Yeah, they're gone. I mean, the only thing that Saul and the guys over there, what they do is, there's time shift.
Yes.
So, and a lot of storytelling now revolves around, where are we? Oh, we're in the future. Where are we? Oh, we're in the past.
Yes.
But I mean, part of the appeal of Better Call Saul, without a doubt, was that beloved characters, whether they were good, bad, or ugly in Breaking Bad, you watch Better Call Saul and they're alive.
Yeah.
And you get to spend time with them again.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, there was one scene last year where we realized everybody in the scene, we know how they die.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like watching a movie from like 1865.
Right.
Like, everybody's dead here.
Yeah.
And so it really adds that extra layer of, as you're watching it, like their concerns and their passions and who's going to get here. And I'm like, oh, you shouldn't waste your breath. You should actually go to dinner because you have no idea how bad it's going to get for you.
That's cool.
It's so very, very true, man. I'm stoked on it, though. It's an incredible show. I remember when it was announced, it was like, how are they going to do this?
Sure.
We're talking about one of the greatest television series of all time in Breaking Bad, at least according to, many people would say that.
Yeah.
Critics and fans alike. And so when they announced this new series, it was like, well, how?
How are they going to make this work? I know.
Is this a cash grab? What are they going to do? And I will say, truly, I've said this many times on the show, I think it's a better show.
I appreciate that.
I really like the show because it's different stakes. It's getting backstories. I think Mike is such an important character to Breaking Bad.
So good.
We had Jonathan on for an hour, and one of the kindest dudes in real life.
How
Also
about
the
that?
most intimidating, but somehow like the sweetest.
No. When we first
You know
got to
what I mean?
when we first got to Albuquerque, we go up to the queue at that place Frost, where they have got some of the best gelato I've ever had.
Oh, okay.
So I'm with Jonathan Banks. It's hot as blazes. It's nighttime. And Jonathan Banks and I are sitting there with those little bitty spoons. Right. And he's sitting there and he's eating his caramel. And people are walking past. And this is like the first season, so nobody knows who I am. Or if they do, they think I'm Nurse Dan, right? And so they would walk and they stop all of a sudden. They look at Jonathan. And Jonathan will give that Mike Emmertrout stare. And he goes, "What are you looking at?" And they'll freeze.
Yeah.
And then he'll immediately break into that smile. He's like, "Come here." And so he would come and he'd bring these people down. They'd sit down.
Yeah.
He loved to talk, especially young people. He wanted to find out what they were in school for, what they were studying, tell them stories, asking them questions about that. And then it always devolved into eventually somebody giving me their phone and saying, "Would you mind taking a picture of me and Jonathan?" So for the first season of Better Call Saul, I was basically Jonathan Banks' PR person.
That's
in Albuquerque.
That's funny. Yeah, Jonathan Banks is one of those characters, you know, much like you, he's been in a lot of things since, what, the 70s probably.
yeah.
And he's always played that villain, that guy that
Not
just
always.
is creepy.
Not always.
What do we
Christmas Eve every year, the Jeter family tradition, we watch Gremlins. And he was
that's
was
right.
a goofy deputy who got to play with Gizmo. And I always go, "There's Jonathan."
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
He's just this goofy deputy. He's got a very small role, but Gremlins is like the Christmas Eve tradition for the Jeter boys. And
I forgot about that. I got to rewatch that. Yeah.
But yes, for the most part, he was always terrifying. Or the bad guy, Beverly Hills Cop, whatever it was. And so, yeah, amazing stuff. But dude, I wanna talk about this. I know like we're just going over whatever. But I love exploring. You mentioned San Diego Comic-Con. I've never been, but I go to New York Comic-Con every year because I love the city.
I love New
Brooklyn.
York City.
I just love exploring. So I usually go, and that's my excuse to spend a week in New York and just discover new places to eat, places to see. I walk the Brooklyn Bridge, which is one of probably my favorite thing actually in life, because you look over and it's like, Lady Liberty, I love you. There's Manhattan. I'm walking towards you. I see you.
Yeah.
I love it, man. And so it's a big reason why I love your Instagram, because you're constantly out exploring. For me as a Christian, I look at Psalm 19 talks about the heavens declaring the glory of the Lord, and like how they pour forth speech, and how creation just basically speaks out this incredible, unfathomable God, because look at everything around us. You know what I mean? And you are an explorer. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, because whether it's the La Luz here or wherever you are, you're always out. Like, what is it about being outside for you?
Well, yeah, I just read this the other day about how you can find spirituality away from the noise and the cacophony.
Yes.
And I've lived in New York City, and I lived in Los Angeles, and that's a lot of people, and it's it's a lot of cacophony.
Yeah.
And if you get outside and you like take your headphones off and you really just go hiking by yourself, you can't help but be affected. You know, there's a great book called "Wherever You Go, There You Are," and it's a meditation book. It's about basically walking meditation, and it's about the idea of being able to walk out somewhere, whether you be in Central Park or we be in La Luz, and really to begin to breathe in and really observe that's a tree.
Yeah, man.
Here's the sky. My place on it is my feet are on the firmament here, and below me are roots, and you know, this life is short.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy world, and it's always been a crazy world. We just get to see it 24/7 these days.
Yeah.
And so the idea that it can be taken away, and my ability to go ahead and actually be present, and I live in the United States of America at this particular point in history. It's a very lucky, fortunate thing.
Yeah.
And to be walking in Central Park and to observe that, and to think that somebody had the foresight to go ahead and carve that out so it's not condos.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for this water. Thank you for these trees that have been here longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
What did these trees see when they planted them? Who thought about planting them? Maybe I should go plant some trees for future generations. So it really just gets my mindset into gratitude.
Yeah.
Into right-sizing my ego.
Yeah.
Because especially in my business,
Yeah.
you know, that I have to feed that and water that to a healthy degree.
Yeah.
But when it gets out of control, it sort of it sours and ruins everything, because you know, there's not enough money, there's not enough being on TV, there's not enough, and why am I not this, and blah 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 blah, and compare and contrast, as opposed to can't we get grateful for what we have? Can't we get grateful for who we are in this moment, where I'm at? And for me to get out, to run away from myself and get out of my head of that nonsense. Get outside and, you know, find a stream, find a tree, walk your dog. All those sort of things become very meditative and beautiful. And for me, that's touching God. You know, that's seeing the glory of what's out there.
Yeah, dude, I love it. And I love, if you don't follow him, you got to get over to Instagram because I love the questions you ask as well. Like, what are
at
you...
Mr. Patrick Fabian.
Yes. What are you doing today? Like, what are you... And I just love how you always bring it back around to a question, because if there's one thing I think it's important. I don't think we spend enough time reflecting. I don't think we spend enough time asking the whys of life. Like, why am I into this? Well, why am I doing this? Why am I... What is it that is drawing me to nature? What is it that's drawing me to wherever I'm at and the escape? Because we can get so stuck on social media.
Oh my gosh,
dude!
You got to shut it off.
It's great and it's a poison all at the same time, right? I mean, there's something beautiful about, like, I love following other people in other countries and seeing their experience of, like, oh, am I really gonna get to the Ukraine and Russia? Most likely not, but I've got some people who I follow who show me just their lives.
Yeah.
Nothing extraordinary, just their beautiful lives in there. And I love that. And but, like, you have kids, and I have kids too. So you say why, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting lots of whys now from my 5 and 7-year-old.
Right?
And all of a sudden, you just run into what you don't know. And you run into what you've totally, like, made up all of your life. I'm like, oh, yeah, I never really thought about that.
Right?
Totally.
So, but there's moments that are sublime. I'm on the shore of the Pacific up near Santa Monica, and it's just the ocean, the rhythmic of the ocean.
Yeah.
And my children are playing in the surf like children have played in the surf for centuries.
Yeah.
Just with their hands in the sand. And in those moments, I'm like, oh, you know, TV what? Camera who? Phones this? It melts away.
Yeah.
And I think those are those moments, those shafts of light, those beams of where everything, all the doors and gates that you put up to sort of block yourself about what is true, just sort of cascade open, and there's a shaft of moment of clarity, for lack of a better word.
Gosh,
and I think if you can find places where you can touch into those and plug into those, however you need to do that, that helps vibrate you and then make the rest of your life better, I think.
You need to do a podcast. I'm like, your voice and your conversation right now is very soothing. So maybe there are people today that are going to, like, get off of Facebook or social media of some kind and go outside and discover something. And I think it's so vitally important.
Yeah,
so.
Just breathe the air in. You know?
I know,
just
right?
Take a few deep breaths, and it's...
No, I don't want you to say that. I want Patrick to say that. Patrick's voice.
Go ahead.
Just breathe in the air.
See that?
Hold on.
Here
we go. Say that again. Go ahead.
Just breathe in the air.
Do you hear that?
Yeah,
I'm just saying. He does it way better than you. So
I know he does.
Oh man, I know your time is short. You're only here for a couple more days, and then you got to get back to the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles life.
Yes, indeed.
Dude, are you already? I mean, like most actors, do you already trajectory for what's next? There's so many projects, I'm sure.
I got a couple of things lined up, which is really good. I mean, I'm going from this where I'm playing Howard Hamlin, wearing a suit and a tie bar, and wrapped a little tight.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to North Carolina, and I'm going to work on a teenage summer romance movie that's based around kiteboarding.
Beautiful.
You know, and
wow,
that's right, and that's why I love my career, because you don't know what's next, and it might take you to and it might take you to places you've never been. So I'm probably going to be kiteboarding in about 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Dude,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, for real, man. It's so cool. I love it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the show too. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
Better Call Saul. And is there even a date when the next season of Better Call Saul is coming out?
Late July. We're saying midsummer right now, but
birthday for us.
How about that?
Perfect.
Happy birthday, guys.
Oh,
Right
love
on.
it. I'll take it. All
right, we got to take a break. We're live from the Dreamstar Remodeling. We'll be right back. Hang on.
A supernova on Star 88 with David Jeremiah.
The 7th chapter of Daniel tells us he's a cultic leader. He shall speak great things against the Most High and seek to change the times and the laws. He will speak out against the true God of heaven, and the language suggests that he will try to raise himself to the level of God and make declarations from the position. And the Apostle Paul, remember the passage in 2 Thessalonians 2:4? We've appealed to that passage a number of times in our study. 2 Thessalonians 2:4 says of the Antichrist, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God and that is worship, so that he, the Antichrist, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. He will be a cultic leader and will accept the worship of the peoples of the world.
Turning Point with David Jeremiah. Don't miss it on our sister station, KNKT, weekdays at 11 a.m. on 107.1 FM. A reminder from Rich Wilkerson Jr. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to what happens to you. Star 88 with a solar flare.
you're a Jesus follower, you have to be on guard and aware. Watch out for the Deo Honuma moments.
Need some divine direction? Here's Craig Rochelle on a Star 88 PowerPoint.
And watch for the Deo Honuma moments. It could be something really, really big where the Spirit redirects your life. It could be something very seemingly insignificant that impacts in having a bigger impact. For me, it was 21 years ago when I loved where I was, loved my pastor, loved my church, and now, compelled by the Spirit, we must start a different kind of church. It's big and life-directing. It was the other day when I was about to text someone that was hurting, and it was Deo Honuma. Don't text, call. And what turned into what was a momentary call ended up being a lot of tears and a significant amount of prayer and an incredibly meaningful conversation. Watch out for the Deo Honuma moments.
Now that's a PowerPoint with Craig Rochelle on Star 88. Hey, what's going on in the news today?
President Trump says his meeting with Kim Jong-un will take place in Singapore on June 12th.
It's going to be a very big success.
The Federal Communications Commission set June 11th as the repeal date for Obama-era net neutrality rules aimed at preventing broadband companies from getting more control over what you do on the Internet.
On Wall Street, solid gains for a second day in a row, led by the tech sector. Dow Jones Industrials up 196 points, S&P 500 up 25, NASDAQ up 65. Among the big tech gainers, Apple, Facebook, and Google.
Ford not able to say when production of its F-150 pickup will resume.
The air in Santa Barbara County, California was filled with the scent of fresh flowers. Now it's gone to pot, and a lot of people are complaining. Greenhouses in Carpinteria that used to grow flowers are filled with marijuana plants these days. Cannabis cultivators moved in when the flower business moved to South America.
An overwhelming majority of pilots at WestJet are in favor of strike action.
The Order of Canada celebrates citizens who have made outstanding contributions.
Good morning, everybody. Friday, live from the Dreamstar morning. Now, whoa, I just had a stroke. I'm okay.
You okay there, buddy?
I'm okay. Live from the Dreamstar Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Sam Swann is here, everybody.
Hey. Dex, what happened, dude?
I don't know.
Okay?
Every once in a while, you just have a stroke.
Yeah.
Happens.
Hey, at my age, it could happen at any moment.
Yeah, stroke's no joke. Stroke's no joke. Yeah.
Stroke is no joke.
Stroke's no joke. Man, how are you, Sam?
I'm good.
Been a while since, we've seen each other, but not really.
Yeah. Well, you were off for a little while, and then I took off.
You did.
And finishing up my sabbatical today is technically, I guess, the last day of my sabbatical.
Wow, I went on a sabbatical as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's great for you guys.
Mine was a little
so
more voluntary.
Refreshed.
Yeah,
so refreshed.
Great.
Yeah, just to get away from, the normal day-to-day routine.
Yeah. It was hard for me to unplug.
I had to buy new jeans
so hard for me
this month. A bunch of new jeans. Because I've been working my butt off. That's cool, you guys.
Well...
Does it hurt when you sit down because you don't have a butt anymore, Steve-O?
Yeah, not much there. Not much there.
And I bet you even quit using the phrase, that's a pain in the butt, because I don't have a butt anymore. I worked my butt off.
Because I worked it off, man. I worked it off. So
you guys can chime in. We're on Facebook and YouTube live. Just search Star 88. And you can also call in 505-338-3700.
I'm going to allow the people to mock me because I usually, after good interviews, will say, dude, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
But him along with Jonathan Banks, the Jonathan Banks interview when he was here, we had him on. Those are two of the coolest dudes I've ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so down to earth. Patrick's down to earth, man. He's such a cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was glad I got to be here with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice, fun to meet him.
Yeah. He's an explorer, man. I'm telling you. Follow him on Instagram.
I think it's great. Listen, a lot of people come from out of state, from all over the country, and they come to New Mexico, and most of the time they complain.
Yeah.
Because it's different from where they came from. Rather than appreciating the beauty that we have.
Oh, yeah.
I've been that guy for years.
Dex is that
I'm from Montana, so it's a different type of beauty.
Yeah.
And when I first moved here, I just was, ugh.
Yeah.
And, coming from San Diego, I love the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm not a big desert guy.
Yeah.
But I had to learn to appreciate the beauty that is the desert in Albuquerque.
And I love the way that he mentioned he just immersed himself in this.
Yeah.
He, at first he was like, that's kind of weird. I'm coming from the ocean, 30 years in California to New Mexico, to Albuquerque. But then he said, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. And he went out and he talks gloriously. I love what he said. The land of enchantment is not just a slogan.
Yeah.
Because I grew up all over. Well, I've lived in New Mexico since I was 14. So basically, I've been here most of my life. But prior to that, I've lived all over the country.
Yeah.
And each part of the country has its own unique kind of beauty. And I heard that when I first moved to New Mexico, everybody would come here and they'd be griping and complaining. And I'd be like, man, just get over yourself. If you don't like it here, get out. I'm sorry, but if you don't want to, unless you're locked in your job and you just can't get away, well, then I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. Then make the most of it. Don't there's unique beauty wherever you go.
Yep,
I don't
that's
like
true.
trees. You know, I can't see forever. So when I go back east, I'm like, there's too many trees. Ah!
That's crazy.
I mean, they're
love-
beautiful,
man, I love
but I feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
and also scary things come out of the trees at night.
Yeah, that
I've
is
watched a
also
lot
true.
of movies. So
That is true.
In New Mexico, they can't sneak up on you because there's no trees.
Right.
Of course, a mountain lion might eat you when you're walking
Yeah.
through the
Oh,
desert.
yes,
but
very true.
You take the good with the bad.
Uh-huh.
Either line,
Yeah.
So
And there you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
the facts of life. Hey, by the way,
A show
pull
that
up-
Patrick was not on.
Pull up my Internet Movie Database page.
Yeah,
and
let me
we'll
pull up your
talk some of that.
IMDb.
Yeah, no, none of that.
So I really
Better call
want to talk
Sam.
about your trip.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I mean,
don't-
let's be real. We've been
Yeah.
talking this morning about like experiencing things,
Yeah.
and by the way, the theological term is general revelation
General
or
revelation.
natural revelation,
Yes.
which most people just would yell hippies at us, but
Yeah.
that's actually a theology, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Discovering God through nature and like the physical universe and
Yeah.
like seeing His creation.
As long as you don't pray to the tree.
I've never prayed to a
you,
tree.
You thank God for creating the tree. That's big difference between bowing before the tree and praying to
Is
the
it
tree.
okay to praise God that the tree is alive? Because after
It is
the
alive.
first Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, listen,
grows.
bro,
Trees grow.
I think Groot's a goner. And then
I am Groot.
and then they grew him back from a
Yeah.
little twig. And
Yeah, he
and-
was. I love Teenage Groot.
Which, by the way, that's not the same Groot. That the original Groot from Guardians 1. He is dead. That's his son. Yeah, that's what the director said.
Wow.
So just to make you cry more when you watch the first Guardians.
Now I'm wrecked.
I really want to hear about this trip, man. I'm just kind of waiting.
Okay,
Fine,
first of
tell
all,
us about the
let me
garden,
just
too.
one little piece of background
Yes.
before I left. That big movie that Blockbuster opened
Yes.
the weekend before I left. So
Uh-huh.
Brenda and I went to go see it.
We still haven't talked about it on the show, really.
I'm not without giving anything away.
Yeah.
I was an emotional wreck
Mhm.
even before I walked out of the theater going, I don't know how to feel right now.
For those that don't know,
first of all, I'm angry.
50-year-old Baptist pastor is talking about Avengers Infinity War. So
Yes.
just want to make sure.
I just want, yes.
It's
and
relevant
thank you
to
for
all cultures and
Thank you for
ages,
lowering my age a few years to just
old
50.
and
I
young
appreciate
alike.
that. Yes.
Baptist, non-denom.
We
all of us.
love the movie.
Yeah.
So it was a life-changing moment for you.
It was
when
the
you left
best.
that movie.
It was the best and
Wow.
the worst movie I'd ever seen.
Right? Yeah,
Because
I get that.
there were parts of it that I walked out of there going, that ain't right, dude.
No, it's not. That ain't right.
That is not right. They
Yeah.
cannot do that.
Yeah.
And then in other parts, I was like, that was hilarious. But then I was reminded that ain't right, dude.
Yeah.
They can't do that. So, okay.
Yep.
So then we fly to Israel. And
Oh, no.
Oh.
Here comes the water.
I can't look at you.
Sam's
Here
getting a
comes
little,
the old water.
he's getting a
my
little
God.
juicy.
Oh, what are you crying about?
Yeah. Here comes the
Okay.
water. Don't look at me in the eye.
We landed in Tel Aviv. We get on a bus. We drive outside of Tel Aviv somewhere. I can't remember where. It wasn't really even part of the tour. It was just where they set up to have our first meal together. And I'm meeting with 30 strangers, basically 30. There were 2 people in this group from across the country that I already knew.
Yeah.
So I was glad that I was going to get to hook up with them. Like the guy, my counterpart with the convention in Texas, and my counterpart with the convention in California. We do the same thing in our respective states. So I know those 2 people.
Yeah.
And everybody else are strangers to me. We had a guy who plays guitar for Carrie Underwood. He's in her band. He's been playing for her for 10 years. Was with us.
Yeah.
We had a kid, the boy actor Nathan Gamble, who's in Dolphin Tale. He was on this trip.
It's so random.
Wow.
Everybody else,
cool.
everybody else were
Celebrity.
ministry leaders. And I'll tell you this: we went with a group called Israel Collective, and what Israel Collective is trying to do. There's a movement out there among
A collective, if you will.
Yes, if you will. There is, or even if you won't, we're collecting. There's a movement among some folks who are lessening the importance of Israel, and they are, because they're getting misinformation
Yeah.
through certain news media outlets, through all news media outlets to some degree, that is accusing Israel of doing things. And I learned a bunch of stuff from the geopolitical side over there as well, besides seeing just what we refer to, quote unquote, the holy sites. So I have a whole new understanding of that. But what Israel Collective is trying to do is to remind believers of the importance of Israel in Christian history.
Right.
And that's oversimplifying it, but that's without getting into the heavy details of it. So what they do is this was an invitation-only trip for people who are either millennial or who have influence in millennials' life to come back to experience Israel, to come back and to spread the word about needing peace in Israel. And when you're there, we hear about it, but when you're there, they're surrounded by enemies. They're surrounded by people who have said,
right,
we want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. They refer to them as the people from nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what they call the Israelites, the Jews of today.
And we all know that nowhere is the floating celestial's head in space.
Yes.
So the Guardians had to travel to get the Infinity
So that's
Stone.
enough of the geopolitical side. Now we land, we eat supper, we drive to Tiberias, which is on the Sea of Galilee. It's dark, we get in the hotel, we go to bed, it's late.
Right.
I get up in the morning, I look out my window.
And there's the sea.
There's a Sea of Galilee.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
That's beautiful.
I thought Jesus walked on that water.
Right.
That body of water. Not only that, but a good portion of his ministry was done in that area. He was never in Tiberias because there was a graveyard there. A good Jew doesn't go into a graveyard. That's why the graveyards were all on the outside of the city.
Really?
Yeah, little Jewish history there. Jesus never was in Tiberias, but he was on the Sea of Galilee. We went to where the Sermon on the Mount might have been preached, possibly.
Yeah.
We went to Caesarea, which is, they call it the home of Jesus. We saw what they say could have been the house of Peter.
Yeah.
A tabernacle. We stood in a tabernacle that Jesus, in Magdala, we went to Magdala, which is where Mary Magdalene was from.
Right.
They've uncovered a tabernacle there that dates back to the time of Jesus. It's quite because what does the scripture say? He went about teaching and preaching in the synagogues. They found, I said tabernacle, I meant synagogue. They found a synagogue in Magdala that dates back to the time of Christ. He could have taught in that synagogue.
Wow.
So that's the beginning of my trip.
Gosh.
The first 2 days, I am wrecked.
Oh, I watched your Instagram videos. I know.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know, Sam.
Thanks for watching, Dex.
Yeah,
by
man.
the way, I appreciate it.
You blended general and specific revelation together. You were crying at the Sea of Galilee.
I was so overwhelmed and full on the first day that I was thinking, I can't absorb anything else.
Right.
This old sponge is dry, but now it's soaking wet, and I got to wring some stuff. There was stuff coming out of my ears I was experiencing.
I can't wait to hear more about it.
I'll tell you more.
Okay, good. His trip to the Promised Land. Sam Swann hanging out with us live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back.
For over 40 years, La Salita Restaurant has been serving New Mexican food to Albuquerque. From starters like soups, salads, and Cindy nachos to entrees like chili rellenos, burrito de Eduardo, the B.O.G. burrito, and carne adobada. La Salita is friendly to those who are vegan or gluten-free and offers catering, as well as a rewards program at 1950 Wansabo or online at lasalita.com. Star 88 thanks La Salita for their support. Slater Transfer and Storage is a Star 88 power partner. Slater Transfer and Storage has been family-owned for more than 30 years. They're an Atlas Interstate agent and are certified by the American Moving and Storage Association, moving locally, long-distance, corporate, or even international, and providing local storage. Slater Transfer and Storage is located at 6900 Washington Street in Albuquerque, on the phone at 505-345-8841, and on the web at atlasalb.com.
Skip Heitzig hits you with a hot spot about the gospel.
The gospel was never intended to be kept hidden, to be kept secret. The gospel truth, the word of God, was never to be enjoyed just as a private little light, but to be given out to everyone.
Hot spot. What's the best news you have to share? Listen to Skip.
It's how the gospel works. You share the word, you share the truth, you share the gospel with somebody. They listen to it. Listen to it.
Access Skip's full teaching library at connectwithskip.com. Connectwithskip.com. Now remember, you won't always see the fruit of sharing your faith, but
you can't see what's going on inside that person's mental processes. You don't know what's going on inside that person's heart. But God may be working in the individual life, and pretty soon there's signs of life. There's a little boop.
Take Skip's teachings on the go. Subscribe to the Skip Heitzig podcast on your mobile device, iTunes, Google Play, whatever.
Our responsibility is to communicate the light of the gospel to the world.
Hotspot.
This is KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Rebroadcast on KKCJ, Cannon Air Force Base. KPKJ, Mintmore. K201CC, Las Cruces. K203EZ, Alamogordo. K207CQ, Gallup. K211CW, Hobbs. K212EH, Silver City. K214DE, Antonito. K218AK, Artesia. K250AB, Roswell. K293AO, Alamosa. K228DQ, Portales. In the free app for iOS and Android. And online at star88.fm.
It's time to check in with today's teens. What it's like to be using the latest tech, gadgets, games, movies, videos, music. It's time for Teen Talk. Today's teen is Peyton from Baltimore, Maryland. Peyton, welcome to Teen Talk. How are you going to hook up your mom this Mother's Day?
Like me? No. My dad usually gets a card or something like that. And then I sign it. She seems to like it. You know, I was thinking I could go in the backyard and I could grab a flower. You know, give it to her.
Join us next time for another look at the awesome lifestyle of today's teens on Teen Talk.
listen to.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Dex and Steve-O, Sam Swann, live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 studios. Thanks for joining us on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Just search Star 88. We upload the shows every day on Facebook and YouTube. We're on demand, iTunes, through the app. There's so many different ways you guys can listen and connect to us. If you ever need us or you need help with anything, you need prayer, whatever, you guys can reach out to us through Facebook or YouTube or studio@star88.fm. We got the live line. What's that number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483.
Text in anytime. You can also call the live line as well and leave a voicemail if you'd like. And phone lines are open right now if you'd like to call in. 505-338-3700. Sam Swann just got back from Israel, and he just shared his first couple days with us. And man alive, it just sounds like you probably could have left after the second day and just been completely content and happy.
Yeah. It was amazing. Because we did several things around the Sea of Galilee, and then we got on a boat and we rowed on. It was a motorboat. We didn't have to row, thankfully. Jesus didn't send us to the other side and didn't come walking on the water at that time. It happened a long time ago. But we were on the boat on the water, and I'm thinking.
Did you try and step out and walk?
I did.
You're like, I got faith. Yo.
I'm going.
George Michael in your ear.
Let me tell you what.
Faith.
Nothing sinks faster than a 54-year-old man stepping out on the Sea of Galilee.
How many people have tried that? I want to know.
I actually stayed far away from the railing because I thought, I could do this.
Oh, dude.
I can walk on the water. I have faith of a mustard seed.
Oh, man.
I could build a mountain. I could throw a mountain, get in the sea. But instead, I just took a rock from the Sea of Galilee.
There you go.
And some beach sand from the beach. So
you got to bring that home?
Yes.
I did the same thing when I was in the Middle East. I grabbed rocks. I'd bring rocks from different
areas.
areas.
What I did, I wrapped it in lead protection so the X-ray wouldn't reveal what it was.
Yeah, and then I'm sure.
Do you have anything to declare? Jesus is Lord. That's when I went through customs. That's all I could declare. God is real. Shall I pray for you?
Oh man!
Welcome back to America. Just go on, you stinking freak. Go get your baggage and go to.
That's incredible.
So we're riding on this boat. And the Sea of Galilee is small.
Yeah.
You can see from any part of the shore, you can see the whole shoreline. I mean, obviously you can't necessarily see to your side all the way up the shoreline, but across to the top, to the bottom, you can see the whole thing. And when from a certain vantage point, it's small. It's probably only a little bigger than Elephant Butte or maybe Navajo Lake. Huh. It's you think of it, you hear the word sea, the Sea of Galilee, but it's really like a giant lake. But So, first of all,
Lake of Galilee just doesn't
have
cool.
the same ring.
Yeah.
Lake of Tiberias.
Yeah.
Because it has several names, but the Sea of Galilee, Gennesaret.
Why can't we call it the Sea of Cochity?
Yeah.
That sounds dope.
That's so great.
That's what I'm calling it from
I
now
am
on.
about to go fishing in the Sea of Cochity.
Yeah, dude.
Bring thee thou my rowboat. I shall
happening.
fish for you.
It's happening.
Yeah, so I think it's going to catch on, Steve-O. It's a great idea.
Sea of Cochity, bro.
So we're riding on this boat across, and I'm just going. I'm on the verge of boo-hooing the entire trip.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a quick little story. These two girls from Germany, because we're in a group of about 30, and we booked the boat. It was just going to be us on the boat, and these two girls asked our tour guide, a guy named Yoav, which is Hebrew for what we would say Joab, but it's Yoav in Hebrew. They asked him, can we get on? They just wanted to kind of catch a ride. They didn't want to have to pay. They're just, because they're kind of working their way through Israel. So the dude in charge of our trip lets them ride with us. Well, they're kind of sitting over on the side of the boat all by themselves. And one of the girls, my counterpart in California, her name is Sharon. Sharon gets up, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this happening. She walks over and sits down with those girls from Germany, and she starts talking with one of them in particular, whose name is Anna. She shares the gospel. She has an opportunity to share the gospel with Anna because of the questions she was asking, and they got to this point. And this girl, she's looking for something. She's searching. So Sharon, so later I asked Sharon, she said, I just had this overwhelming impression from the Holy Spirit that I needed to go talk to that girl. So she went over there. So I saw this happening. So I snapped a picture of it. I posted it on Instagram because I was like, even over here in Israel, there are people who need to hear about Jesus from other places. These girls are from Germany. Their English was very good, but you could hear their German accent. And I don't know that young lady was ready to follow Christ at that moment, but Sharon was able to be obedient and plant it. That happened on the Sea of Galilee.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I mean, that was a huge God moment for me.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is good. This was the strangest thing to me about it. I felt like I belonged there. It felt like home.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as I know, I don't have any Jewish blood. I think I'm going to get a DNA test.
That's how they do it.
Because I want to find out.
You're like, I think I'm Jewish.
But I felt like I belonged here.
Yeah.
There was just something about... I sort of felt like that when I went to Wrigley Field, but this was...
I'm like, that's like me in Brooklyn.
I'm among my people.
Yeah.
All my fellow Cub fans. We have an affinity, but there it was a deeper sense of connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And...
when they say the Bible comes alive.
It was like reading the Bible in 3D.
Yeah.
It was.
But what kind of glasses did they give you? Were they like the red and blue, or were they
VR?
like the new ones?
Virtual
The new ones kind of give me a headache. I'm not gonna lie.
It was weird because it was the red and green ones.
Okay,
wow.
And so by about the third day, I had a headache. And so I was like, I'm going to put the Bible down for just a few minutes.
Yeah.
I can't. And the cool thing was reading the scripture.
Yeah.
Like I experienced stuff during the day, and I'm not a journaler at all, but each night, when I get back to the hotel, I was jotting stuff down because I was taking a bunch of pictures. I took a few on my phone, but most of them on a little digital camera because I didn't want to forget some of the things that I was seeing. And so I wrote a bunch of stuff down. I was journaling, basically, and kind of writing what my experience and my thoughts and all that stuff. And I was kind of reading the scriptures, and I was like, man, this stuff happened here.
Yeah.
It's all real. It's all actual. I'm still processing. My thoughts are so jumbled. I'll jump from one thing to the other.
Yeah.
This is kind of a funny thing. What I didn't realize is that to get on an Israeli airplane, we flew Israeli Air.
Is it like Indiana Jones? There's 12 people in there. No. There's chickens. And you're going, I don't know how we're going to survive this.
No, that was the plane that was going to Iran.
Okay.
But the plane that going to Israel, it was a 747, the biggest airplane I've ever been on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, when we came back, I got on a 737 to fly to Dallas to get my connection, which that's a whole other story there too, my journey to try to get home. A 737 feels like one of those little tiny puddle jumpers now after flying a 747. So anyway, you have to go through this you have to go through Israeli security before you go through airport security. So you walk up to this little podium thing and they start asking questions like, why are you wanting to visit Israel? Well, I want to go see some of the sites. I'm with this group called Israel Collective. And he goes, do you know who the leaders of the group are? I said, well, yeah, I just met them a second ago. They're Josh and Raj. They're leading this. And he goes, and who invited you? And I'm like, well, a fellow named Sammy Lopez. Yeah, Jesus has called us all, brother, to come to me. And a guy named Sammy Lopez. Do you know his full name? No, I just know him as Sammy Lopez. And he goes, and he invited you? I said, yeah. Is he on this trip? But he's been several times with this group already. He invited me, and he's not here this time.
Yeah.
And he goes, when was the last time you had a cigarette? And I said, well, I don't smoke. And he goes, he flips through these papers, and he goes, well, according to our records, in 9th grade, you were standing on the grass, and you had a cigarette. I'm just kidding.
I was like, what? I believed it, man.
So I was like,
Big Brother is watching.
Yeah, that's right. That was the last time I had a cigarette in 9th grade. Mr. Israeli Mossad officer that looks like a tiny flight attendant. I don't know. You could probably kill me with this pencil. I don't know.
Yeah.
And make me disappear in Palestine somewhere. I don't know. And then this was real. This is legit. He goes, are you planning to talk to anybody or have conversations about any way and how to harm Israel?
Oh, my gosh.
And I said, absolutely not.
Right.
I mean, why would I do that? I didn't say that. But
right.
in my mind, I'm thinking, there's a wrong answer to that question.
Yeah.
And so then he goes, okay. And he puts some security stuff on my bag, and then I could go to the counter and check in.
Gosh.
And then I went through airport security, and they're like, you got anything to claim? You got water?
Right.
You got take it all out of your bag.
Wow.
And so that was a little crazy. And then to leave Israel, you have to have that same little interview. It's a little shorter.
Yeah.
Did you take any rocks from the holy city?
Nope.
No.
Define holy city. What do you mean by holy city?
Define rock.
What are the What are the parameters?
Define take. Like if I have it in my hand, does that count? Or if it's in my suitcase that is standing right here that you're not going to hopefully look into?
I had a totally different experience because I came in on the Palestinian side.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I came in Amman, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And so we, at the time, we could see at night, we could see Jerusalem.
Yeah.
But we couldn't go because they most likely, if we went across, they wouldn't let us come back because of the war, what's going on over there. But Palestinian side, I didn't have to, they didn't do any of that. It was pretty easy.
Yeah. They're pretty serious about security. And they know they're
like, are you going to do anything to harm Israel? And you're like, no. And they're like, why not?
Why not? Yeah. They have a total different perspective. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, what do you want me to do?
We went to a place called the Golan Heights, and from the Golan Heights, you can see Syria, the hill that is Syria. You can't actually see any cities. You can see Jordan. You can see where ISIS headquarters is over the hill. You can't see it, but there's a hill just over there. You see the UN. We were right there where we could see the UN compound.
Giant skyscraper. It says ISIS. It's like the Avengers Tower. It's like, there they are.
Yeah.
There's their headquarters.
Yeah, so we were right there. I mean, it was...
Now imagine God tells you, hey, I want you, Sam Swann, to go and share the gospel with ISIS. What do you do?
I would have prayed. I would have prayed, Lord, are you sure?
Right?
Because I think Steve-O is more adventurous than I am. Lord, I'm really not an entrepreneurial spirit.
Not much of a talker.
I can't plant a church, but I can come alongside of a guy. So send Steve-O to plant the church, and then I'll come and be his youth pastor.
No.
Okay?
No.
So then we spent 2 nights in Tiberias, and then we head to Jerusalem. And as we're ascending, Jerusalem is literally on the top of this gigantic hill, and the bus even struggled
me it's a city on a hill.
It's a city on a hill, and it cannot be hidden.
That's great. I'm writing that down.
That's part of it.
They should have wrote that down in the Bible somewhere.
You don't have to write it down. Just look in Matthew, in the Sermon on the Mount. Which, by the way, Jesus was.
Get to go to that where Jesus did that?
The Sermon on the Mount?
Alleged.
Yes,
there's a lot of mounts, yo.
Yeah, but it was near. It was near the Sea of Galilee.
Yeah.
And our tour guide, he kind of said, "Now picture this: Jesus is talking, and he points. He says, like a city on a hill cannot be hidden, and across the lake, across the Sea of Galilee, was an ancient city." And he was pointing that it wasn't Jerusalem because it's a little further to the south, but. So we go into Jerusalem, and first of all, the whole time I'm there, I'm smiling. And everybody on this trip, I'm poking them, and I'm going, dude, we're in Israel. This is Israel. We're in Jerusalem. And I just kept saying that over and over and over because it was just so overwhelming. So our first stop in Jerusalem was the Mount of Olives. And from the Mount of Olives, it's all built up with stones and stuff now, and there's a giant Muslim, this is funny, a Muslim graveyard between... like the top of the Mount of Olives and the city of Jerusalem, the old city, because from there you can see the city beautifully. I'll show you a couple pictures off there. And the Muslims also closed up the eastern gates because the scripture talks about Jesus coming back through the east, and so they figure if they can close the gates, they can keep Jesus out of the holy city.
Muslims, so literal.
They just... They don't realize that's not exactly how it's going to happen. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to. Even if there is a wall there, remember after he rose again, he kind of just appeared in rooms.
Yeah, he just kind of walked it.
I don't think a rock wall is going to keep him out.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, a rolled stone didn't keep him out. So, we see the Mount of Olives, and then we go down to what is it actually is the Garden of Gethsemane. And it's a lot more manicured and everything than I thought it was going to be. Back in those days, I learned something. What we would call an orchard or a vineyard, this Bible times they called it a garden. When we think of a garden, we think of a manicured and pretty flowers and stuff and that kind of stuff like that. But so Gethsemane was an olive orchard, and we know that because they found olive presses. And like here in America, our farmers grow stuff, and then they put it in a truck, and they send it off to a manufacturer or a whatever to do. It all happened in the same place. So they grew the olives, they took them down, and walked right over here 100 yards away and pressed the olives to get the oil. Same thing with the vineyards. The wine was made, or the grapes were squeezed or stepped on right there in the garden, which is the garden tomb. We'll talk about that in a second. So we're looking at the Garden of Gethsemane, and I'm like... this is the place where Jesus was in agony.
Right.
Let it go, Sam.
And I was like, it's too pretty to be in agony.
Right.
I was a little bothered by what they've done, whoever it was that did it. There's a church there, a Catholic church there. But still the impact of the place,
right,
of his agony.
Yeah.
All right, so we get back on the bus. Then we go to, I can't even remember all the order. Here's a little side note. The food in Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah? Pretty good?
It's the best food I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Mine in Amman, wasn't a fan.
Because think about this. Where did the Jews live for all over Europe, all over the world, plus from the Middle East?
Yeah, good
call. So their
it's a smorgasbord.
Food, it's an amazing...
Have you ever been to Brooklyn?
I don't know. Where's JFK? Is that in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually...
So I spent like 47 hours in JFK when we came back at the end of the trip, which I'll tell you quickly how that is later.
Quickly?
Yeah. Sam Swann, Baptist preacher, that's a bad combination for anything quickly. So I'm enjoying all this stuff.
Yeah.
Soaking it all in, seeing the old city. We go on Friday night to the Western Wall. And I found out, the others may know this already, but I learned this. I didn't know this. That the reason that the Western Wall is so important to the Jews is because when you look at a picture of the old temple, of the old city and the Temple Mount, when the Romans came in AD 70 and destroyed the temple, which Jesus predicted would happen, by the way.
Yeah.
When they destroyed it, it was like over here, the Western Wall. There was a wall all along the west here of the city, of the Temple Mount. But this part here was preserved. It's the closest to where the back of the Holy of Holies was in the temple. The wall of the Holy of Holies, the back of the temple. So that's why they prayed there at the Western Wall, because it was close in proximity to where the temple was.
Okay.
To where the Holy of Holies was.
But how thick are the walls? Because like the last best Western walls I went to, you could hear everything.
Yes. These
Western walls.
I'm telling you, these Western walls, I put my ear to it to try to hear any conversation on the other side.
In the next room? Nothing.
I just heard 1,000 years of whispers. That's all I heard.
Okay.
And so that was amazing. So anyway, we go. We practiced. We participated. There was a host family there that had us come and do a Shabbat Shalom, which we refer to as a Sabbath, but they started calling it Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Again, and so we did a Sabbath meal with a family, and that was so cool. But before we did that, we went to the Western Wall and we experienced. There was a giant celebration. There's a rabbi from old days that died who's kind of a hero to certain groups of Jewish followers. And they had a big celebration for him because it was like his birthday or the anniversary of his death or something. And so there was an extra number of people at the wall that night. In fact, I heard somebody say, there's more people here than I've ever seen, and it's somebody who goes there all the time.
Oh, wow.
I mean, somebody who lives in Jerusalem.
It was like the balloon fiesta of...
Exactly. As far as the excitement. Now, here's the thing I saw. The Jews, the men, because it's separated. The women are on one part at one part, and the men are at another, and it's crowded, and there's singing and dancing and worshiping and praying taking place.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get in their way because this is their thing. I was an observer.
Yeah.
So I put on a thing. There's a certain, when you cross this certain barrier, you have to have a yarmulke, or they call it something else. So they have some just, community yarmulkes. You grab one, put it on, go down, and then when you come back, you take it off. I was a little creeped out by that. But I did it anyway. I thought, okay, when in Jerusalem, do as they do. So as I kind of experienced it down in the middle of the crowd, and I don't like being pressed in on crowds. That just bothers me. And plus, I didn't want to get in their way. So I worked my way back up this little ramp. And while I am walking up, there's a guy. He's standing there, and he's got his eyes closed, and he's got his face kind of in his hands, and he's weeping, and he's just praying. And I'm like, we have such a misconception of the Jews.
Right.
They are missing it. If they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah, they're missing out on it. But here's one thing that I discovered personally. They love God the Father.
Right.
And they do everything within their power to serve him.
Yeah.
And they live the Shema. By the way,
Right.
that commandment, what's the greatest commandment? Love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength.
Yeah.
Jesus was quoting the Shema.
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't a Christian. He was a Jew.
Right. Right.
And he was quoting the Shema. They say this, love the Lord your God. The Jewish people love God the Father. My heart was breaking because I was like, they love God, but some of them don't understand that the Messiah, what they're waiting for, he's already come.
Yeah.
But I have a new appreciation, new understanding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Culturally, Christians have not been kind to the Jews.
Right.
Yeah.
Inquisition, Crusades,
Yeah.
and the Holocaust. All done by Christians.
Right.
No wonder
Right.
they have a hard time with Christians.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you experienced that. I'm not going to lie, because I think a lot of times people have a misconception or a misunderstanding and just label something.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
But when you truly, I mean, earlier we had Patrick Fabian on, and we were talking about just being in nature and within different cultures and observing different cultures, and you come to understand that's why.
Yeah.
That's why this. That's why. And it begins to open up dialogue.
Yeah.
Because, man, it's so funny. One of the biggest shows in the world right now, oddly enough, Roseanne, this last week had an episode about Islamophobia.
Yeah.
And she got destroyed for it. I couldn't.
Did she really?
Yeah, dude, I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. So basically what happens is her next door neighbors move in and they're Muslim. And they're, of course, like super Fox News, conservative Trump people, and
they think they're terrorists.
Immediately, it's like they're terrorists, and there's all these jokes about it, and like how they work for ISIS and all of these things, and yet then something happens where I don't want to ruin everything, but basically they lose out on something and have to engage with their next door neighbor, and when they do that, they come to realize these people are human beings.
Yeah, and they're good
are
people.
Very good people and very similar in certain regards, and they were able to have conversation.
But the Muslims were scared of the Americans.
And the Muslims on the
'Cause how
flip
they're
side are terrified
treated.
of the Americans, and it's like, man, and so we're all running around terrified. Nobody wants to engage, and nobody wants to talk, and we're all afraid. And then, of course, the episode comes out, and she gets destroyed.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, this isn't going to do anything. Islamophobia is real, and how dare you mock it? And it's like, no, not everyone knows this.
They missed the mark.
Yeah, they totally missed it. It's like,
Yeah.
do you understand what she's saying?
Yeah.
You should go talk. Let's have conversation about it. Because there are people out there that are afraid of other cultures because it's like terrorist, you know what I mean? Like, and when we have conversations, we come to realize we have more in common. And now I'm not getting all universalist. What I'm saying, as a human being, we can begin to have conversations that open up opportunities to love your neighbor. And as Christ said,
at the very least, we should connect on a human level.
Yes,
at the
dude.
very least.
At the very least.
So that's what we were trying to do partly on this trip, but also to understand a little bit more about it. So I have a new understanding of the Jews from that personally. That was just an observation.
Yeah.
We heard from several speakers. We would have a little time where they would come and share with us. One guy is a believer. He's a Jew, and he's a believer. He's a Messianic Jew. And one of our guys, because we had this conversation several times amongst ourselves of our tour group. How is it that the Jews who know the Scriptures so well and who love God with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength, yet how can they deny that Jesus is the Messiah? So that question was posed to our friend who was sharing with us, who is the Messianic Jew, and he said, that's a very good question. He said, first of all, in Isaiah, it talks about God blinding them. So we don't know the end of the story for the Jewish people. I still believe with all my heart that the Jews are God's chosen people still, because God made a covenant with them, which was really with himself. God doesn't break covenants.
Yeah.
God does not break covenants. Now, that doesn't mean I understand how it's going to work out or how it's going to play out. And yes, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through me. Somehow God is going to remove the blindness from them at some point. Some have already, he's revealed it to them. And then again, he was the one that gave the answer. He said, think about it, the Christians have not been kind to the Jews, and he listed those three things, which, by the way, I went to the Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem. I can't even talk about that.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't.
I visited Dachau in Germany.
Yeah.
A concentration
I
camp.
can't even.
I know. And I still,
it's
like
insane.
20 years later, can't talk about it.
You'll die. You go in there just weeping.
So I have this new understanding of the Jews from my perspective, and a greater appreciation of how they might miss in the Scriptures.
Yeah.
Because even some of those in that day that were with Jesus missed it. So
yep.
There were those who were following him around for a while who missed it. So that was crazy. I mean, crazy. How do you say that?
Yeah.
Then we went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is which they say traditionally is where the crucifixion and the resurrection took place.
Yeah.
And they supposedly have a stone that after Jesus died, that's the stone that they laid his body on. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, I don't.
Right.
I'm troubled by all of this.
Yeah.
This part.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so the next day after that, or a couple days after that, we went to what is called the Garden Tomb. There's a picture that they have from the 40s that the rock, you can see it is clearly a skull. I'll show you a picture off air. Clearly. I'm sitting in this little amphitheater thing, and to my right, 35, 40 yards from me, now the bridge of the nose through erosion has fallen down, but you can still see it.
I've seen the pictures of those, yeah.
You can see it.
Place of the skull.
And then from there, another 120 yards is the empty tomb with a wine press.
Yeah.
It was a vineyard. It was a garden. It was a rich man's tomb in a garden is what the Scripture describes it as.
Yeah.
They don't claim that that's the tomb that Jesus came out of.
Right.
But it represents a tomb at what it looks like. There's the thing where the stone is rolled. They don't have that at the sepulcher.
Yeah.
They don't. And I don't want to run anybody down, and I'm not totally against tradition, although I am a little bit. But when I went to the garden tomb, the impression and the sense that I had was more real
Right.
than the other one.
Yeah.
We did the Lord's Supper at the garden tomb.
Wow.
You know, when you practice communion or do the Lord's Supper at church on a regular basis, and it's usually a time of reflection for me, and I think about the sacrifice and how undeserving I am. But when you do it at the garden tomb,
yeah,
you're like, this is my body
Right.
was broken. This is my blood that was shed right over here.
Right?
Right over
Yeah,
here.
like 40 yards away.
And then proving his power of death in the grave is the empty tomb. In fact, a friend of mine was over there the same time. He was on a different tour, and he was a friend of mine who pastors a church. In fact, he was one of my kids in my youth group a long time ago. He pastors one of our churches down in Hobbs. And so we were texting, have you seen this yet? Have you seen this yet? We were hoping to try to meet up in Jerusalem, but it just didn't work out. Which is funny. We travel we live in the same state. We wanted to travel half around the world and try to bump into each other. And I said, have you been to the garden tomb yet? He said, no. And I said, well, you really won't miss much. He's not there. And he sends back, ha, ha, ha. And get a little biblical humor there. Because the reason they don't know the exact tomb that Jesus was buried in, because he's not there.
Yeah. Right.
We can identify in all kinds of places all over the world where people are buried.
Right.
Because their stones are marking where they were buried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they can't know for sure where Jesus was buried because he was only there for a couple days.
Right.
3 days, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
So, the garden tomb to me felt, and I don't go by feelings like that. This feels real.
Right,
No,
right.
My sense was, based on history and the evidence that was presented to me, this is where it happened.
Yeah.
Because it was right next to the Jericho Road. It was across one of the gates of the city, so they would have taken him out of the city because the Scripture describes it as it being on a busy road, and because people were mocking him as it was happening. So it wasn't like they took him out. You know how we pictured in the movies, he's out isolated, being crucified, isolated with just a handful of people there. It was on a busy thoroughfare on the Jericho Road.
Yeah.
This road happened to be the Jericho Road, which is crazy to think about. I was on the Jericho Road. I was thinking that song the whole time I was there. So, experienced all that, and then just the conversations that we had. These people that were strangers when we first started this trip, we're like family. we've started a Facebook group, and we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that there were a couple of super famous people on this trip.
Yeah, Dolphin Tail too.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, as far as he's like a level 2 actor, but he's in a movie.
Right. No, that's big.
Steve-O's
been in a movie.
He was the little
Stop
kid.
it.
He was the little kid in Marley and Me.
Oh, no kidding.
He
wow.
played the little kid in
I
Marley
never
and Me.
saw it because I like dogs.
Yeah, I never saw it either.
Gosh, that was a nightmare of a movie.
The last
to watch.
one I saw was called Old Yeller, and then
Jennifer
I was like,
Aniston,
nope, never again.
Jennifer Aniston was his mom in that movie.
You'll never trick me again, dog movies.
Yep.
But those guys, famous or not, and there were some national ministry guys that I had heard of, but we were experiencing Israel together, and we kind of developed this family thing. And I'm telling you, I could tell stories forever and ever, and I will be continuing.
Right.
In fact, I'm thinking about starting a blog.
You should.
Just to translate some of the notes that I wrote to myself, and I may not add anything else to it, but just blog my Israel trip.
Call it Sam's Place.
Sam's Place.
I love that.
Anyone?
Anyone? Is it good? Yeah.
Sam's Place.
I like it.
Good.
Anyone?
So
One
I'm
of the
just
greatest
gonna
movies of all time,
say
Casablanca?
this that
No? Okay.
I didn't know that it would. I thought it'd be that'd be cool to
It's
go to
actually
Israel.
Rick's place.
But it was. I don't want to say life changing because that sounds overly dramatic, but it was life changing. It affected me in ways that I never realized that it would have affected me.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance, I'm just telling you, if you have a chance to go with a tour group to Israel, you got to go.
Many people are chiming in asking what your Instagram is because they want to follow along and see your photos and stuff from Israel.
It is at Swanky Swann with 2 N's, SWANN.
Love that.
Swanky Swann.
Yep.
I got it better. Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
Call it Sam's Club.
I love that.
It'll be your blog.
It's good. All right, you guys can
write everything in bulk.
You guys
There you
can join us on Facebook
Right.
and YouTube. We got
played.
a little bit more of the show left. You guys chime in on Facebook or YouTube, Star 88 FM, or you can text in 505-585-LIVE. We are live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back.
We all want the best future for our children. Our next generation of leaders need a strong foundation. With small classes, a great sports program, and affordable tuition, Evangel Christian Academy strives to equip students for the work God has for them. ECA's mission is to shape and empower the Christ-loving leaders of tomorrow. By using a leadership-driven and individualized learning model, our staff can better prepare your student to stand strong in their faith and be ready for the real world. ECA also utilizes dual credit through C&M by offering 4 courses on our Academy campus taught by our staff. Since 1976, Evangel Christian Academy has been serving children from preschool through 12th grade and is fully accredited. We are located at 4501 Montgomery Boulevard Northeast in Albuquerque and are currently enrolling for the 2018-19 school year. Please contact Evangel Christian Academy for a tour today at 505-883-4674 or go online to ecanm.info. That's ecanm.info.
Benjamin Franklin reminds us, when you're down to nothing, God is up to something. The faithful see the invisible, believe the incredible, and then receive the impossible. Solar Flare on Star 88.
Something wasn't working, running out of faith. I was so uncertain, I couldn't find my place. Then I let go, let love surround me, and I found myself right where you found me. That's the life in your life. How could I want anything more? It blows my mind every time I'm reminded that you call me yours. That's the life. Yeah, that's the life. About surrender, that's when the power comes, making you the center, the breath inside my lungs. And why would I run back to where I was? Yeah, 'cause I got everything in your love. That's the life in your life. How could I want anything more? It blows my mind every time. all of eternity. I know my future holds everyday miracles, so bring it on. Father, you promised me all of eternity. Oh, I'm coming home. That's the life in your life. I want anything more. It blows my mind every time I'm reminded that you call me yours. That's the life. Yeah, that's the life. That's the life. You paid for mine. That's the life. That's the life. Future holds everyday miracles, so bring it on. Father, you promised me all of eternity. Oh, I'm coming home. Oh, I'm coming
Andy Stanley examines the life of David in this Star PowerPoint.
Throughout his imperfect reign, he was never confused. David was never confused about the identity of Israel's true king. He never was confused about his limited role. And in spite of his popularity, in spite of his talent, in spite of his success, and in spite of his extraordinary power, he was never, ever confused. For many of us, that's not the case. Success confuses the best of us. A little bit of success, and the next thing you know, we're sitting on the throne of our lives. A little bit of sales success, a little bit of family success, a little bit of parenting success, a little bit of financial success, a little bit of academic success, a little bit of success in some hobby or some talent. The next thing you know, we're sitting on the throne of our lives. And once we're on the throne of our lives, we place our hope in us because we place our hope in the one we depend upon the most. David, the king of Israel, never made that mistake.
That's Andy Stanley with a PowerPoint on Star 88.
What's going on in the news today?
President Trump says his meeting with Kim Jong-un will take place in Singapore on June 12th.
It's going to be a very big success.
The Federal Communications Commission set June 11th as the repeal date for Obama-era net neutrality rules aimed at preventing broadband companies from getting more control over what you do on the internet.
On Wall Street, solid gains for a second day in a row, led by the tech sector. Dow Jones Industrials up 196 points, S&P 500 up 25, NASDAQ up 65. Among the big tech gainers, Apple, Facebook, and Google.
Ford not able to say when production of its F-150 pickup will resume.
The air in Santa Barbara County, California was filled with the scent of fresh flowers. Now it's gone to pot, and a lot of people are complaining. Greenhouses in Carpinteria that used to grow flowers are filled with marijuana plants these days. Cannabis cultivators moved in when the flower business moved to South America.
An overwhelming majority of pilots at WestJet are in favor of strike action.
The Order of Canada celebrates citizens who have made outstanding contributions.
Yeah, let's do that. Good morning.
Yeah,
Welcome
good
to the
morning.
show.
Hi.
How's
Hey,
everybody
guys.
doing?
Oh.
What's happening?
My headphones fell off.
What's happening? Hey, big shout out to all the moms out there. We talked to our moms this morning. If you missed it, go back. It's on demand. It's on YouTube and Facebook when we upload it after the show. And yeah, just shout out to the moms out there. Thank you for everything you guys do, and love you, Mom. Working hard today at Costco. I just got this incredible. Somebody tagged me in this incredible story. I almost just started crying when we're off the.
Is it
air.
the photo of you and me with Patrick Fabian?
No,
I tagged you in that.
No, that wasn't it. No, this lovely lady Camille was sharing this story about her mom and how she loves the show. And I mean, I'm gonna share it here in a minute. You can just go to my Facebook page. But man, just incredible. Thank you for the support over the years, and now even the prayers that everybody was, throwing out to me while I was out.
Well, I didn't want to say it before because Sam was talking about how that was the most people that had been at the wall, crying and praying, is those were Starmy members because you abandoned us, and so they were like crying out to the Lord, like, when will He return? And it was like you thought Jesus, but it was really you on the morning show. That was terrible. I'm going to leave now.
It was
I'm
amazing.
Go. That was awful.
It was amazing at how many morning invasion shirts I saw over there.
So many.
Only one. It was
We're
mine.
Huge over there. Huge over there.
I was representing.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it is Mother's Day on Sunday, and we thought we would talk about momisms to wrap up the show.
I like this.
You know what a momism is?
It is something that moms say
that you have carried on.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
What did your mom tell you when you were younger, or maybe even now, that you've held on for years?
Your mom's momism has stuck with a lot of listeners. A lot of the Starmy quotes your mom regularly.
Yeah, that is true.
About when they're having a bad day, it's just time to pull up your big girl panties. And I'm like, thanks, Dex's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was a good one, actually. I seriously think about that one a lot if I'm whiny or cranky.
Right.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I think of your mom saying it.
My mom used to always say, too, I would cross my eyes, and she'd be like, hey, don't do that. It's going to stick.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. There were so many things I was afraid of because my mom...
Right.
Centipedes, to this day, most terrifying thing to me in the world. Because when I was little, we grew up in Four Hills, up in the mountains, and so centipedes were like a thing, man. And I was always terrified by them. And she told me to never let one touch me because they'll use their fingertips to burrow into your leg.
Oh my gosh! Why would she say that? Is that
Your
true?
mom said that?
Yeah, maybe to make sure I never touched one or something. So to this day, I have like an irrational fear of centipedes.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's irrational. They're kind of creepy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mom. Those are my momisms. They're supposed to be like sweet things.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I remember most.
Always put on clean underwear.
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to be in an accident.
No, my mom always, like, no matter what, it was always John 13:34 and 35 pour out of me, I think, because of my mom. A new command I give to you. This was Jesus talking to the disciples. To love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, all men will know you're my disciples by your love for one another. And that was it. It was like, it didn't matter. You love everyone.
Yeah.
Except those crazy terrorists with turbans. Baptists were weird.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like she was so full of love and grace and wisdom, and that was her big thing, was like, you just love. God, as God loves you, you just love one another and just pour out that just, Stephen, always be loving and kind. Oh, there's those crazy terrorists. Why do we do that?
I don't know, man.
Moms, bro.
Moms.
That's a momism right there.
Yeah.
It's a momism.
Yeah.
Half my phobias are because of my mom.
So share your momisms. You can call in 505-338-3700. Good morning.
So, Steve-O, we have so much in common, it's crazy. We both lost our dads when we were younger, and I am deathly terrified of centipedes, too. My mom told me that they could sting you, and so my aunt took me to school one day, and I felt something crawling in my shoe, and I kicked my shoe off, and there was a big centipede on my sock. I screamed like a little girl. I was like 7, and I kicked it, and I am terrified of them now.
Yeah.
I will not.
I hate those
if
things.
there's one in the house, I'll put like a 20-foot arch on the poison and kill it and cover it with a shovel.
Dude.
And I'll call my father-in-law.
Somebody else chimed in and said the same thing. Wait, centipedes can't crawl inside our skin? My mom said the same thing, and I've always believed it.
Well.
Now I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, you better Google that.
Oh, gosh.
Thanks, man.
Maybe my mom's right, and she was saving us all.
Yeah, another thing that I remember was
Centipede.org.
Make sure you put on a jacket, you'll catch a cold.
Yeah.
And that, I found out later in life, that's not true because you're more likely to catch a cold or get sick in the house because of all the bacteria and germs.
It's all caught up.
Yeah, you're outside, that's actually better. You're not going to catch a cold.
Yeah.
What? Why? Why? Why is that stuff passed down?
Well, I think because that's what somebody told them.
Yeah.
And they just pass it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why sometimes those things are referred to as old wives' tales. Not that old wives have tales, but it's, stories. Not those kind of tales, not the not the kind you can pull. I'm sorry, I've been in Israel. My mind is
it's good.
I got good and bad news.
Yes.
Centipedes cannot burrow into your skin.
Oh, good.
Bad news is they definitely sting, and it's worse than a bee sting.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But no, they cannot burrow under your skin. However, this has been around since the 70s. It was a tale that people told and believed. So maybe my mom thought it was true.
She just heard it. And there was no internet to double check.
It's rubbish, but it's a nice, icky story to make people squeal and terrified.
There was
not
no
touch them.
Snopes.com to go check it out.
Like
there is now.
Yeah, that's where I
That's the only reason I said that, because I saw it.
See, somebody said Muffler Man Dave from Santa Fe here. My mom told me centipedes will crawl in our skin if they get on you. Why? This was supposed to be like honoring moms, momisms, and most of them are like, my mom!
This conversation has taken a turn.
Gosh.
We're supposed to celebrate moms. Mom, we love you.
Here's a good celebration. My family, mostly my dad and I, have pun wars like Sam and you do sometimes, Steve-O.
Yeah.
But when my mom drops a pun bomb on the battle, she ends it.
Oh, she's the Chuck Norris of pun bombs.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Man.
Here's a couple more. It's no use crying over spilt milk.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard that one before.
Dude, coffee stunts your growth. Margot says that's what her mom always said.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that one.
Oh!
Is that true?
I think my mom told me that one.
Is that true? I don't know.
I'm 6'2". I drink coffee.
Coffee does not stunt your growth, but coffee does contain caffeine, which stimulates the central nervous system.
Somebody said,
thank you for that.
My mom always told
this medical minute brought to you by
expectations minus reality equal disappointment.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Expectations minus reality equal disappointment. Is that good?
Expectations
yeah, I mean,
minus reality.
Equal disappointment. Because you can have all these great expectations, but if you don't...
Oh, minus reality.
Minus reality.
Yes, without the reality,
you will be disappointed.
Your expectations.
You will always be disappointed.
How about if
that is deep.
Yeah.
If you don't learn to cook, no one's going to marry you.
That's not it.
Did your mom actually say that to you, Dex?
No.
We have so many on the live
I said
line.
that to my daughter.
Hey, no, we're not talking about dadisms. These are momisms.
Somebody said, treat people how you want to be treated. Also, don't eat sweets before bed or you'll have nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just a ploy to keep him from eating sweets.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yep.
It's just like saying if you swallow watermelon seeds, watermelons will start growing out of your ears.
Dude, here we go.
My mom told me that.
Here's the seed. That's one. I always was terrified to eat seeds of any fruit because something was going to grow inside of me.
And don't swallow gum either.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Dude, Ruby in Las Cruces chimed in and said, my momism is having to wear socks or shoes inside the house or we would die from a cold.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
great.
I think that's why I always have socks on.
That's funny.
She said it drove her crazy that my 3 girls are always barefoot inside the house.
Oh, that's great.
Dude, I love that because I always had socks growing up.
Yeah.
I have the best feet. I have the best feet, man.
That's cool.
No mani pedis for me because they're just so smooth.
Yeah.
Somebody said, my mom used to always tell me, if you ever get arrested, you better pray that the cops keep you.
Oh my gosh. That's not a momism. That's a straight up mom threat.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah.
I take it back.
Those
That's a
are good
mom
ones.
promise.
Yes.
That is not a threat.
Those are called
That's a
mamas.
promise.
One of the things my mom used to tell me
That's perfect.
is I can always tell